Greetings, greetings, greetings. TGIF, everyone. What is going on? What is happening? What's popping? Well, you want to know what's popping? Snow. Snow in Chicago. Today was the first sighting. Oh yeah. Uh-huh. I think it was about 12, 15, something like that. Yeah, a little bit afternoon. Even though they mentioned snow after 1 p.m., but I got a chance to witness it, and it was a little early. I'm like, okay, no worries. It's all good. It was just a little light fluffiness, and it lasted maybe all of 5 to 7 minutes, and then it was gone. And then it started again, maybe about I don't know, four no, about 5 o'clock. It lasted only about 20 minutes, and then that was the end of that. But yeah, today Chicago got its first sighting of snow. Oh yeah, and the kids they're out of school today. The mayor created something called "Go Get Your Kids Vaccinated Day." So they let the kids stay home today, so the parents can go ahead and take care of that. How much you want to bet? Maybe, and I do say maybe half of the parents did that. Probably about half. But anyway, they had that for the Chicago students today. What else? Oh, and the dentist. I wonder, do anyone have stories about their dentist? And actually, more so the billing, because as of late, I would say really the last 5 years, dentistry has just really became a hustle. I mean, they'll just tell you, I think I see some. Yeah, that's going to cost you $300. And then if you buck at it, they're like, well, or maybe I don't see anything. And that's pretty jacked up and sad. But I have noticed that a lot of dentists are kind of being a little flaky when it comes down to their billing practices. And I thought about that because today I went to the dentist for my checkup and get my cleaning and everything. And the dentist said, what we gonna do about that implant I suggested last year? I said, I don't know what we gonna do about it because I was broke then and I'm still broke today, a year later. I don't have no $10,000 for no darn implant. And yeah, you may can get a discount of $7,500. But no. But I did take the pamphlet that they offered me. They said, oh, we got great financing and no one is turned down. I'm like, oh, this sounds like a darn student loan. You ain't gonna get me hemmed up. But I taken the pamphlet, looked at it, and if you pay it off, I think in 1 year, the payments were what was it? In fact, do I have a pamphlet near me? I don't see it. Oh, here it is. Take that back. And I'm gonna tell you what they're trying to do. They went as far as saying if you finance it and pay it off in 6 months, the dentistry will take care of the interest for you. They'll take care of the interest. I'm like, wow, isn't that something? So that means the price is inflated. That's how I figured that out because they're not going to take no loss. And if you do it in 12 months, well, that is almost like a car note. And if I had $700 extra to pay, I would get me a brand new car. I would not be buying a tooth. I'm just saying. I'll just deal with the 31 I have or however many left I have. Yeah, that's it. All right, you good people. Without further ado, you know what to do. Hey, raise your hands up in the air and then wave them to the right and then the left like you just don't care. And let's have a warm welcome to Classic Ruby, everybody.
Why, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's so lovely to be here. I think I spy some people with my little eyes. So thank you all for showing up for me. For me! I mean, for Shar. For Shar. We're all here for Shar. It's not about Ruby, okay? Ruby's not trying to make it about her or nothing. Not about me. How you doing this evening, Shar? How you doing?
I am well, and I wanted to mention that um, this birthday here with Topaz, she
Oh,
she will be in Hawaii.
oh, so jealous.
Yeah, I
So
said,
jealous.
wow, you're gonna have some warm weather. Yeah, I bumped into her about an hour ago in another chat room, and I had a great time because normally I kind of relax before the
Mhm,
show, but I was
mhm.
just caught up. It was just so much fun. I couldn't help myself. But
Oh, nice, nice. Right?
but yeah, she's going to Hawaii. Yes.
Girl, just bring some Hawaii to me. I don't even need to go to the whole thing, right? You can bring me some of the warp, the sand, the sun, the happiness, lay. It doesn't matter. Right? A giant pig on one of those spit roasty. I don't care. Just some of Hawaii, please. All I've seen is this apartment since 2020 started, basically. Like you don't see nothing else. You can't go nowhere. You can go places. I didn't know you
Hmm.
could go places because it seems like you can't go anywhere. Oh, I'm not vaccinated. Right. Okay, never mind. I still probably can't go nowhere. It's fine. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna be all right, y'all. It's gonna be all right.
Yes, it will.
Hopefully. Hopefully.
I think so. I think it
Yeah,
will.
right. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna entirely lose my mind. At least I live with a whole human. Some people have been doing this, working from home. They deliver in their groceries and everything in Amazon, and they don't see anyone like ever, right? So at least I see a whole human being, and I get to look at it, touch it, talk to him. You know what I mean? Like, no, seriously, I have no idea how some people have made it like well over a year. They have done studies that have proven when you put human beings into like isolation,
Hmm.
it doesn't go well, right? That's why that movie, what's it called? Castaway? Is that what it's
Oh
called?
yeah, yeah, with
Right?
Tom Hanks. Yeah.
Yes, and that ball that he makes into a friend, and he really sees
Okay.
as a friend, and when it goes to the end, he's like, no, no, my friend is dying. I don't want him to drown. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's like you need other human beings, or you lose your mind. So I don't know. Y'all are better than
Yeah.
me. I couldn't do it, and I'm antisocial, so y'all are better than me. That's all I gotta say. All I gotta
I
say.
did I was people watching while I was waiting to be called, and I only had about 2 minutes, and I'm just watching the people and stuff, and the guys they had their suits on because I guess they were working in the streets or whatever. They had the vest and all of that, and it seemed like they were grabbing drinks more so. It's like I seen them with cans of soda or Mountain Dew and Red Bulls and stuff like that. And I'm
Mm,
like, I just found that interesting. I'm like, wow, that's something interesting for 10 a.m. But okay, that's what you want. All right.
hey, better than vodka, I guess. You know, definitely don't want to see them drinking vodka at 10 a.m. Right? So Red
True
Bull,
that. True
right?
that.
Liquid speed. It's fine. It's legal. It's okay.
All right. Well, what we'll do is warm up a little bit,
All right.
and after we warm up with our Friday dance,
All right.
then I'll let you go ahead and do the introductions.
All right. All right.
Okay. Here we go, good peoples.
Mhm.
Look at her. We gon' talk this thing over. Groove all in the middle of the night. Come on, come on. Make you a baby, take a baby. Make you a baby, take a baby. Make you a baby, take a baby. Make you a baby. I'm living my best life. I'm living my best life. Ain't going back and forth with you. I'm living my best life. Ain't going back and forth with you. I'm living my best life. Ain't going back and forth with you.
Aw. I'm so glad you picked that one, Shar, because it's so apropos of our topic tonight, right? Because I told y'all last time when Shar played that one, I'm like, Listen, see that to me, that's a trophy. That's a husband. That's a man that I find very attractive because he is willing to do anything to make grandma smile. See, that is a man to me,
Yes,
to
yes,
Ruby.
yes.
Right? Maybe not to everyone. And I'm not saying I speak for all of womankind. I'm just saying for me, that's a man. Yeah. Uh,
All right.
so so if y'all didn't realize because you don't look at thumbnails or they confused you, I don't see how. They're very basic, but it's fine. The point is, our topic of the night is trophy husbands and trophy wives. All right. So I'm gonna tell y'all there's a reason why I'm doing this one. First of all, because Sharp plans things out way in advance, and she already had her life planned for like the next 3 months. But I came in all presumptuous and like, hey Sharp, so listen, right? Randomly I made this comment, right? And then randomly this guy said, you should do that as a topic. And I said, that would be cool for a Friday. Sharp, could we do it? And then I felt bad. So I said, I swear I'll do all the work. I swear I'll do all the work. All you got to do is let me do it. And she said graciously, fine, Ruby, whatever. So that's what we're doing. So,
Uh-uh.
so in case you were wondering, that's where we're at.
Dang. Okay.
I right. God, this Ruby girl. If only I could get rid of her. She's just so bothersome.
Uh-uh.
But okay. Okay. So here's basically what I said in a nutshell, right? We're watching another panel. And on that panel, we were talking about, I don't know, they were talking about like, good women, good men, blah, blah, blah. And so, the topic of trophy wives came up, right? And how every man would want a trophy wife. And then, we have our Joker in the, literally Joker, Jack Spade, if y'all remember him, says to me like, oh yeah, Ruby, get on that like trophy husband thing. And I was like, I don't think that defines a trophy husband. Like, I mean, is it really supposed to be like just flipped reversed? And it's just like, because I don't think the majority of women would even want, a female trophy wife, but with the male packaging, right? And so he said that would be a good topic, and I said, God damn, he's right. And so here we are. So I thought we would start with the easier of the two. I'm going to say less complicated, though I tried to find some stuff, okay, that would make you think. As in, I didn't just go and jump into the manosphere because we've all been up in the manosphere. We've all been just, purely in the black sector, pretty much, right? And so I didn't just jump into just the black sector. I didn't do that. I went all over the place looking for what's a trophy wife? Let's see. And so I figured that would be a good way for us to trigger some of these and illustrate some of the questions around first trophy wives and then trophy husbands. What do you think, Shar?
That sounds interesting.
All right. So Shar can mean so many things by the word interesting, right? Like she could think it means like, oh my God, it sounds horrible. It sounds boring. She could be thinking, oh my God, why did I let Ruby do this? I gave her no oversight. What was I thinking? Right? We don't know because Shar has that like mystery voice, but it's fine. It's cool. It's going to be great. Now,
it does. It sounds interesting, and I'm wondering what's going to happen, and I'm sure I'll have questions. How about that? Is that
there we go?
Okay,
I love that. I love that. Okay, so now before we begin, do we have anyone in the back yet?
We do. Let's see. Bam.
Hey! Our favorite. I don't know if y'all remember him. I remember Jack Spade from way back in BGS days. So isn't it awesome that BGS is in the audience today? How are you doing, Mr. Spade?
What's up? What's up? And I got called a random guy.
I didn't want to like, mess up the surprise of the guest. You know what I mean? So
I have been called all kind of things, but I don't think random guy.
listen. Did I
has ever
say
been has ever
you are
been
the
attached to my face and my figure, but hey.
true, but you're also the first person and only person on all of YouTube that ever made me cry for being mean to me. So I feel like every once in a while I can take a shot at you. So, I feel like it's only fair. But no. No. So now obviously, and so here's the thing, right? Since it was really his idea for the show, he said, well, the least you could do is let me take part and speak my piece. So we proposed the idea to Shar. Shar said, well, as long as you let her know, I'm going to ask questions. I said, all right, cool. Yeah,
Mhm,
okay. So,
mhm.
and here we are. All right.
Now, before you start that, I want to just put something out concerning the chat and ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times I'm on different channels, and I just have one of these type of strange creative minds. So every once in a while, if someone that I'm cool with, and I know they have a channel, if they post something and it's worthy of a topic, I will tell them, just like I told you. I said, hey, go ahead and erase that. That sounds like a good topic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty common.
Oh, okay. Well, see, I thought it was special. I was like, oh my God, really? This has never happened to me before. I'm going to do it right now. And I literally did, right? I guess most
Yeah, I
people
mean
like,
it was special. I mean we were conversing back and forth, clowning in the chat section. So it's all good.
yes, sir, we were. Okay, cool. So if you have anyone has any input that they want to put in before I pause, please let me know. I will absolutely pause so we can talk about it. And sure, I apologize. The files, I'm just gonna explain. The files got corrupted. And I basically had to re-put together the montages today. And so I didn't get to run both of them through the YouTube, making sure that it's not going to get struck down. But one is through, and well, it's almost through. And then the other one, I hope. I really did check. I don't think there's going to be any copyright issues, but I am
Okay.
playing it from my computer, just so you know,
Okay.
because I kind of don't have a choice. I don't see the video. Hold on. Let me just click on it again. There we go. And share screen again. I got this. I swear it's not as complicated as I'm making it seem. There we go. Found it. Okay. All right. Perfect. Are we ready to rock?
Ready.
Okay.
No sound.
What? You can't hear the sound?
No, not on my end.
Oh, okay. Jack, can you hear the sound?
Oh man, that lady's a Shakespeare. I can't hear anything.
What in the? Okay, I'm going to click it again. I did click audio. I really did. I swear, but I'm going to do it again. Share screen, window. Oh, I see the problem. Okay, so we can't actually do it that way, apparently, because if we do it that way, then it doesn't allow us to share the audio. It only allows us to share the video. So I am going to have to play it, actually, which means then we're going to have to do the husband one first, because that's the one that I'm currently I've already had uploaded to YouTube.
Okay.
Okay, so sorry about the switch, guys. It is my fault. Shard did not have anything to do with any of this, so blame me for sure. But now we're doing the trophy husbands first. Okay, all the same rules apply.
Sorry, tough guys. It's a day in the life of a stay-at-home husband. Time to check your misogyny at the door and buckle up. First thing I do is I make my wife some coffee after making the bed. Then I do my wife's laundry. When juggling your husbandly duties, it's essential to separate the Lulus from the dryer. Next, I feed the dog, because who else is going to do it? I assert my dominance over all I have left. Then I make my wife some breakfast. She likes her eggs air-fried with a rice cake and peanut butter. Then I feed the plants before I feed myself, and I tidy up the house. Once the house was clean, my wife took me out on the town. Follow that in the page.
So maybe start here. What's your meaning of life, Maverick?
Meaning of life?
What is it for you, bro? You always tell me you want to be a stay-at-home dad.
Oh man, that's like the goal.
That's what I love, bro.
Like I feel, is that not the goal?
Tell me
Just
about
to
it.
marry a rich girl and just be taken care of your whole life.
Bro, that's not my goal.
How?
I could never.
No,
Because then she could tell you what to do.
right now, your goal right now is to just make so much money that you could just retire and never even have your phone, right? Imagine just starting off like that, never having your phone. You just need one number.
But then
twice.
if she tells you go to the grocery store, guess
You
where you're
do it
going?
happily.
You do it happily? I would like to just
And
sit
then
and I
as
would
she
like to
goes
tell
to
someone
work-
else to go to the grocery store.
No, as she sits.
This is why he's on the
and goes
podcast.
to work. You go home, play your video games, go to the skate park, hang with the boys, bro. Whatever. Drink a couple beers.
As you can see, we have completely polar opposite ideas of our dream lives.
I gotta admit, I am a trophy husband. I will admit it. Yeah, it's a participation trophy. I married the perfect wife. She has a tattoo, so she can handle permanent mistakes. She brought the dog, of course. We're leaving aside. Look at him petting him. Look at him. So jealous.
Some of these women nowadays, the ones that always.
Okay, so I have a question for y'all. Let's start off right from the beginning. When you think of trophy husband, do you guys think of it as the same thing as stay-at-home dad? Or do you think of it more like the kid was saying, like, I don't have to do nothing ever. You pay for my life and I just get to lie around and do nothing? Or do you think about it like, oh, he wants to stay home and take care of his kids and take care of the family and cater to his wife? Like, when you guys hear trophy husband, what are you guys really hearing?
I'm doing nothing.
That's about it. Do nothing. What about you, Jack?
Nah, to me, well, based on when I looked up the word, it was basically someone that's younger. They have to be, handsome for the man, and that trophy, like that ornament that's in the front of a vehicle, that's what he has to be.
See, now what's interesting is, which I'm not sure if anyone knew, that's why I kind of wanted to start with the wife thing first, because Forbes is actually the person who coined both the terms trophy wife and trophy husband. And when they coined trophy husband, about 10 years after they coined trophy wife, it was almost as a joke. It was like tongue in cheek, like it was meant almost to shame the Jefferson Darcys of the world, right? The ones who walked around and find you look pretty and you're dumb and you're a man, like, what did you lose in translation here? It was almost like it was meant to be something shameful initially, but it's not the way society ended up picking it up. And so now we're another 20 years into the future from the time that the term came up. And it means a lot of different things to different people, as you'll see and you'll hear as we keep going through the video. And people have different explanations for the origins. So the people here that we're looking at, the nurse and the nerd, Tahir and Tasha, they're both married people. And so we're going to hear from them a couple times in the video. But let's go ahead.
Preach about independence and all that stuff. They tend to never say need a man, but yet they want one. And then if that goes down a rabbit hole, now they're treating men like possessions and disposable. And then you want to finish it? What does that lead to? A new trend?
A Christmas ornament.
Or a trophy husband. We heard about trophy wives, but if we keep having women thinking like this, or independent, this and the next, and they just want a man, even though you say you don't need him. Yeah, you're gonna start seeing something coming up, talking about trophy husbands.
Trophy
now.
husband. That makes sense. Hold on. I gotta support my good sis. Okay, what's the problem with me taking photos with my husband to take cute photos and put on the title? I know y'all jealous. I got this high value man, and he's a super alpha.
You can do that with material things and pets, not a man.
Yes, exactly.
He'll get tired of that real quick.
Okay, so now we've heard these two married couples speak, and they think that the problem is actually being created in essence by the women. Women are treating men like ornaments or trophies. They're saying, I don't need a man, right? But I want a man to parade around. I want to be able to put a picture of me and my man on Facebook and go, look, I have a man, y'all. Ha ha ha. Or even the married woman said, right? She wants to be able to go look at my alpha. I got an alpha man. He but the guys are saying, yeah, no, that's what's creating trophy husbands, right? Is the women saying, I don't need you for anything. I just want you, I guess, but I want you as an ornament. And so it's literally forcing men into that category. What do you guys think?
I agree with the men. I mean, because I can't get past the word trophy. It just sits there. It's a prize. It just sits there. And as far as a woman wanting to say, look at my man and take pictures and all that kind of stuff, you probably can rent one if you want. I'm just saying you can even trade them in sometime. It's like, okay, this guy over here and whatever he is, look here, can we take some pictures together? Let's meet up at the airport. Let's do a photo shoot. Let's do some settings for Christmas, New Year's, all of that. And I'll catch you next year. I mean, if you just want to do that, but to actually have respect and all that kind of stuff, I don't see how this is going to work, but I'm listening.
See, now, to me, I see the difference. I actually get your point and I agree with it, but I'm of two minds of it. But before I give you guys my opinion, Jack, what do you think?
I'm still going with the original definition. The guy has to be considerably younger, handsome, and he is that padao. Of course, I mean she has to be older, but yeah, that's the cougar putting on turbo.
But then, okay, so what about the way that younger women are just behaving with men in general, right? They're walking around saying, I don't need no man, I don't need no man, but they are very quick to put a picture of them and some man they're even just sleeping with on Facebook to go new boo or bae this or whatever, right? So in that kind of way, they're holding these men up as trophies anyway, even if they're not actually technically with them.
That is true. Now, at one time I was married. I was married for 7 years. Because of it did end. But yeah, depending on how you look at it, I could say that she was a trophy wife, but she didn't meet the definition of a trophy wife. She was 18 months older than me. She was average looking, but the marriage, for the first 5 years was straight. It was just the last two that kind of went crooked. But I can't consider her a trophy wife based on the definition. But I do know a podiatrist when I used to live in Raleigh, North Carolina. At that time, I think she was maybe about 48, 47, 48, and I was like 42. Well, I just knew her through somebody else. And then like 2 years later, she hooked up with this guy. The version of the story I heard was the guy came over for someone's birthday party. He knew someone who knew somebody. And he just, based on her story, he just kept hanging. He was considerably younger, like I said, and he just kept hanging around and hanging around and hanging around. And then they hooked up and got married. So I asked, I said, well, how did all this come about? She was like, well, I don't know. It just happened. That rascal just hung around so long. It kind of grew on me. So this was, like I said, this was about 2010, 2011-ish. And based on Facebook, they're still married. So she has to be in her 60s. And I think he's maybe in his 40s. But yeah, based on the photos on Facebook, he's still around. But he was a handsome looking guy. He did local television commercials. He did some catalog modeling. So the guy, he was considerably handsome, but like I said, it was something like a 20 some odd year age difference between the two of them. But whatever it is, it worked between them.
Now, is the age gap a qualifier for being a trophy, as in if you don't have the age gap, you can't qualify as being a trophy husband.
Not based on the original definition. There got to be some wind and air between the ages.
Well, no, we'll see as we go along, because it seems as though the definition in society today has evolved a lot. And so people are not seeing trophy husbands the same way it was originally defined. And even the definition that you've given it isn't exactly the definition it started with. Because even at the time, the woman didn't have to be, like when Forbes coined it, the woman didn't have to be older. That was actually a qualifier for the men's, but it wasn't a qualifier for the women's. And the reason why is because women started working and being in competitive fields where they were making more money. This was back in the early 2000s. And so women were now making a lot of money, sometimes even surpassing, their general dating pool as far as monetary gains went. And logically, it would make more sense for the husband to stay home. And so women were not gunning for, the monetary, because they couldn't really get those guys who were earning more than them. They started gunning for other things like genetics. You're very pretty to look at and sleep with. So and it wasn't necessarily about her getting really old, because they were choosing trophy husbands to marry and actually have children with. So just saying. All right, but let's keep watching. Day 2 in the life of a stay-at-home husband. Let's see how he does. He's really proud of this. This is not even a joke. This is actually literally like his thing. And y'all listen, because I want y'all to listen and really hear the narrative that's attached to the modern day trophy husband or stay-at-home husband.
Sorry, tough guys. It's part 2 of a day in the life of a stay-at-home husband. When I say check your misogyny at the door, I mean it. It's the weekend, so I gotta let my queen sleep in, so I make her some pancakes. She likes them with chocolate chippies in them. After I flip the script on these gender norms, she wakes up to a hot plate of pancakes. On Sundays we strip the sheets, and then I load the dishwasher. Next, I borrow my wife's credit card and I go get some groceries. I check those eggs. I check out, make my way home, and put the groceries away. The fridge organized with all her favorite drinks and snacks, and then I take the trash out to where the men go. Don't strain yourself, queen. You work too hard. You know the drill. All it ends up being true.
Dear live from
I was
the
choked on my water.
I became a widower 2 years ago and only recently started dating. Although I am in my early 70s, I am in great physical shape and I have all my hair. I am also financially well off and I think I'm reasonably good looking. My concern is, how do I avoid becoming a trophy husband?
I didn't see that coming. Here's a short answer.
That was the greatest question
You're still alive. Every woman of that age will want you. It's impossible. Have you ever seen a guy at a nursing home? They're all around him. Hey, walking down. There's Buddy. I mean, yeah.
If you guys can't tell, this was me.
He's a 70-year-old rich Adonis.
Wait, is that the end of the question?
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, he wants to not be a trophy husband.
You can't. It's gonna happen.
Don't get married.
There's no stopping this thing.
Don't get married. There's no way you can be a trophy husband.
Oh man.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't tell anybody you have money, I guess.
No. Here's the deal. Yeah, I think you will be the trophy husband. Just make sure it's for the right winner.
Yeah.
It's all right to be an Adonis.
My wife married a trophy husband.
Yeah. Oh, then how did she end up with you?
Kind of odd how that worked.
I'm just
Okay,
saying.
here's Secular's answer. Secular. No. Yeah. Okay. She hit both the points. Secular says that should be easy. Don't reveal your financial status and don't propose to anybody. Done. Okay, yeah, she solved that one.
Oh, that's great.
Let's talk about the trophy husband. A lot of men don't realize that women couldn't care less about you as a man. The grand scheme of things, the grand picture throughout all of this and all of my years of being in the field and years of researching stuff like this, I've noticed women simply use men as pawns, as trophies, which we'll talk about as we go into this video, for specific reasons. And it has nothing to do with you as a man.
All right, let's go. Okay. See? So it's echoing. It's coming back up again. We've heard it now 2.5 times, where what part of what's being said out there, right, is that women just see all men as trophies, right? They're not engaging with men as husbands, or they're not looking for husbands or boyfriends. Really, they're looking for trophies, and having a man at your side is so you could use him like an ornament, not so you could care about him, not so you can, build with him or whatever, but so you can show him off and be like, look, ladies, I got a man. Ha ha. You don't have a bae like I do. Ha ha. It's a common thought out there. And they're not talking about old women, for the record, right? Because he's talking about women within his dating pool because he's single, right? He doesn't care about what really old women are doing. He cares about what young, fertile women are doing. And he's saying, women don't care about you. They don't. You're an ornament or a tool to be used, a trophy to show off to their friends. That's in essence what the whole video says. What do we think about that?
Well, an ornament husband. Yeah, I like that term better than trophy. I mean, I wish I could change, the word trophy because it just sits there. You go out and you win it and you bring it home and you put it on the shelf and it's just there. You may polish it every now and again, maybe. And then sometimes you let it collect dust. So you just got it. It's just there. But the guys in the earlier, they were kind of laughing about it. I'm just wondering what they really, think about that. Because I just don't see where that is, something a man really would enjoy being. Because now I'm thinking about other terms. I mean, trophy, I get it. You just sit there, but hey, now I'm looking at, let me see, well, they're married, so it can't be gigolo, but, or like in the chat room, well kept man.
Right. It's weird because the old guy who asked the question, right? I mean, other than them just laughing hysterically the whole time. Wait, that's the whole question? Okay. Other than that, what I caught from that was his whole definition of a trophy husband altogether is completely different at his age. Because I think he's more thinking of himself like the kind of trophy you get from hunting. Like, you kill the big elk and then you put the head on the wall. And it's like, yeah, I scored me the big one. Because he's older, maybe closer to death or whatever, because he's got the money, right? He's the one who he already has the money and the lush, comfortable lifestyle. So how is he afraid of becoming a trophy husband? Sounds like he's afraid of gold diggers, but that's not what he said. Like, he sees it like he would be a trophy to any woman who got him. She'd be like, yes, I got the prize, right? So I thought that was interesting. What are you thinking, Jack?
The difference is a trophy husband, just like a trophy, he has to have that bling. BGS hit on Boris Cujo, 100% correct. Someone that hit on BGS again, Jesse Williams, 100% correct. A young version of Denzel Washington. I mean, he got to be hot. When he steps in the room, all the women turn around and put their focus on him. He is the knee knocker. You can't be average Joe. You can't be old Big Bubba. You got to be that bling. That's the trophy husband.
See now, and the whole thing is the reason why we're even having this discussion is because to me that's not a trophy. Like being dumb and gorgeous, or even the money portion isn't really a prize to me, right? But okay, let's keep watching because I think the next part is interesting. And BGS did say it earlier. He was saying like, yeah, men aren't necessarily responsible for the house and the house cleaning, the house stuff. But okay, let's see what these women think about the stay-at-home dad.
Okay.
Which apparently these days, for the record, is synonymous with trophy husband. I'm just telling you what feminism says. Okay, let's go.
Go to the next topic. Not long ago, it was virtually unheard of for a father to raise his children full-time instead of working. But the stay-at-home dad is now becoming a growing trend. As of today, an estimated 7 million fathers are now the primary caregiver. 7 million.
7 million.
Would you be okay if your husband gave up his career to be a stay.
No.
Oh, damn.
No way. No way.
No.
I think it's honorable for a man if he's in between jobs, if he just lost his job. You've got to understand that not his fault.
Right.
You want to stay. You want to stay home. I love to see my husband with the kids. It's nice. But if he said, you know what, I'm thinking about not going out there and looking for a new job and I want to stay home, I'd be like, honey, that's such a turnoff for me. Get out there and get back in the work field.
Yes. If I'm getting my grind on a daily, you got to get your grind on. It's so super sexy when a man is out there slaying dragons and bringing home the bacon.
I agree.
So if I come home and you're just in your sweatpants and holy socks and your breath smell like yesterday, that's not sexy. You don't want to have anything to do with that man. So it's a turn off.
I guess I kind of have a little bit of a different opinion because everybody is not cut out to stay home with kids. That is not my gift.
Watch this.
But if
Amazing.
my husband, if we had talked about it and we decided that one of us should, maybe for financial reasons, because I don't know how many of you have multiple children, but the more kids that you have and the more that you have in daycare at the same time becomes very, very pricey. And let's say I brought in more than my husband, I would be okay with that.
But if you,
Okay.
That's
good. Wait, what? Hold on. Wasn't it just not good like 10 seconds ago? Weren't you just saying how unattractive and disgusting and lazy and horrible and whatever it would be? But now, when this woman just calmly lays out the logic, the dollars and cents of it, why she would have no problem with it, especially given that set of circumstances, all of a sudden they're fine with it now? All of a sudden. Like, that woman just said, if he lost his job, I love seeing him home with the kids and, that would be good for a while. But then if he said, no, I'll just stay home and keep doing this. Nope, that's it. I'd be so turned off by him. So disgusting. Right. But then this one woman says the opposite. And they're all like, oh, yeah, actually, yeah. Do women know what they want? I'm just asking. Do they? I don't know.
Oh, she made it very
It's
clear.
sort of crazy because from the male perspective.
Sorry, say that again.
I said she made it very clear. She wants him to be home. I mean, if he's out of work, take a little sabbatical. But homie, you're not gonna be unemployed for 7, 8, 9 months. You don't get too comfortable. I'll let you take a mental health break, but buddy, don't get too comfortable with this.
Right. But see, to me, that logic is confused. And the reason why it's confused is because if, like, I don't know, you've worked up, in your job, so you're earning more and more, and then you lose your job, you get laid off, whatever it is, right? And then now you get another job. And your new job, you're starting at $30,000 a year. It's not even something you want to do. It's not really something that has any massive growth potential or whatever. And, you go back to work because otherwise your wife is going to look down on you. But then the fact of the matter is you're actually going to be spending more on childcare, probably, than you make in the year. Just so your wife doesn't look down on you. Like, to me, I would look down on that. Like, so we're going to lose an extra $10,000 a year by you going back to work. That doesn't logically make sense to me. I don't see how that plays out well. Like, if it's something he wants to do, if it's something he's passionate about or something he's pursuing, that's one thing because you're building towards something. But like, just cause I don't know. I don't get the logic, because to me it's about what's best for the whole. And us losing money to pay for childcare and letting random strangers take care of our kids when you could just take care of our kids.
How we look at it from this perspective, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So, buddy, you need to go find an employer who can keep an eye on you.
Now that is very interesting coming from a man. All right now.
Well, hey now. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of lining up with what Steve says next, because Steve's in line with the ladies. Let's hear what he has to say.
Okay.
Just me being a male, and the men that I know, grew up around, the ones I hang out with, we would find that unthinkable.
Right.
Because I just can't, man.
Right.
I can't see my girl going out here and I'm at this house.
Right.
There's nothing in me that's gonna let me sit here. I don't care what daycare costs. I got to go out here and make something to bring into this house so we can help pay for the daycare there.
Yes.
I just can't.
Right.
It's unthinkable of me. I don't know how to be this man I was raised to be and not be out here getting it. Getting it is so much of manhood for me because I was taught by this by my father. Getting it, it's what we do.
Oh, tough guy.
Okay, that I get, because I think that's what a lot of women mean. So like you get that line of questioning going down here in these spaces, right? And it's like, okay, women say, I don't prioritize money, I don't need a high value man, blah 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 blah. And then the next question is always, so you would date a man who's broke, or a man who doesn't work, or a man who works at McDonald's? And then they scrunch up their face and they're like, no, right? And so it's like, oh, caught you in your hypocrisy. But I don't think it's that. I think a lot of us were raised at least thinking that way, that part of what manhood is, like, men want to achieve things, right? They want to go out there, they want to carve their own path. You know, a man who's grounded in his masculinity is out there fighting dragons, whatever those dragons may be. So for a woman like me who doesn't prioritize money, I don't care what your passion is, but I do care that you have one. I don't care what your drive is towards, but I do care that you have drive. And it makes a difference. Like, okay, we're going to see the third segment of a day in the life of the stay-at-home husband, but he's not just sitting at home playing video games, right? He's driven to do this. So he is making her breakfast, lunch, and dinner fresh. He's cleaning everything. He's doing the laundry. He's keeping a very nice household. He's driven to do that, right? That's a little bit different than you just sitting on your butt every day. You don't shower, you don't whatever, because you don't work. You're not the working one, right? Like, I think it's different. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think he's profiting off of it. I think he has a blog or something where he does this and make money. So he's working as also just in a different way.
True. I mean, I'm sure he does, and I'm sure this is very popular, but he is actually filming himself doing the things, right? It's not like he's just running his mouth about it for 15 minutes. Like, the whole video is him doing it. And then you see the wife is mostly sitting working, and their house looks immaculate. So he must be working really hard at it, right? I mean,
I thought about saying if I can hire him, actually.
Right? Damn.
You know, you got to understand now, taking care of a house, that's a heck of a lot of work. I mean, you got to make sure the hospital corners are correct. You got to make sure the dishes you got to make sure there's no rice in between the fork. If the wife wants the vacuum cleaner lines to run parallel with the window, you got to run it parallel with the window. The kids are getting A's and B's. That's a heck of a lot of doggone. And then you start talking about getting the kids to sports practice and sports games, especially here in Atlanta. Man, that's a heck of a lot of freaking work.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Drop them off, pick them up, do this, do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm just going to be honest, y'all. Men are not attention detail oriented. They're not, right? Men think on, the macro scale, the big sweeping things, which is why almost every man that I ever dated in my life, my husband included, when you ask him to sweep a floor, right, he misses the corners. It drives me bonkers, right? Because I see the corners just as much as I see the middle of the floor, right? I see all the little edges and rims and this and that. And my mind just thinks about all those things. And until everything is clean, all those little details are, attended to, it's not done. But I think the majority of men don't think like that, right? And so because they don't think like that, like, they can keep their house from being like a filthy pigsty, but can they keep it as clean as I would keep it? No. And so to that extent, then, a man who could keep my house as clean as I could keep my house, I do consider that a trophy. It's a very rare find. Like, you could take that off of my mind. I don't have to think about all of that hard work and investing into it. I could invest solely into my psychology practice or whatever. I think that's pretty pricey. I don't know. I'm just saying. I would be happy to have that greatly.
Yeah, I think you would chase your trophy husband back to work.
You know the funny thing is, I actually prefer when Mr. Ruby stays home. I mean, I don't like who he becomes if he's off of work for too long, right? Because he becomes someone different, but it's because he has that inner drive and motivation to go out there and, get stuff done and whatever. But I like having him home. I'm quite happy for him to be home and for us to just chill and just do our little, nothing but together in our little cocoon of love. I like that actually. So, yeah, just saying. All right.
You can
Mr.
always
Ruby.
find work at the post office.
I don't know if it's like that here. Most people don't leave. Like the post office or any like mail type jobs, FedEx, all those places. Like once you get in, you stay.
Got a
You don't
pension,
leave.
that's why.
Yep. And great hours.
Guys, I'm sorry. It's part 3 of a day in the life of a stay-at-home husband. First, I make the bed. Wait for it. As the dogs of the house, we run outside while the queen works out in the gym. I feed the dog while she gets ready for work, and then my work begins. I do a little bit of surface cleaning. Come on, boys. Who raised you? Much better.
That's right.
For those of you saying I'm not a real man, have you ever seen a real man do this? Didn't think so. My wife deserves a treat, so I get her card and head to Starbucks. I had to get her the pumpkin cream cold brew because she's basic. Be perfect. You already know. Follow to end the page.
Get her
According to a
card.
new report released this week by the Pew
Right?
Research Center, a rising number of weak, emasculated men are working as stay-at-home dads, with a steadily increasing number of feeble, pathetic fayboys choosing to spend their days cooking, cleaning, and performing other submissive duties.
Well, our findings indicate that more and more pussified half-men are not going to work and instead are embarrassing themselves by purchasing groceries, packing children's lunches, and denying all aspects of their masculinity on a daily basis.
Researchers pointed to rising numbers of submissive, testosterone-drained husbands and fathers happily agreeing to go grocery shopping on a regular basis, noting that many of these ineffectual pushovers spend large amounts of their week regularly taking their children to playgrounds.
In an anatomical sense, yes, these are men, at least technically speaking. They're people who are nominally male, in some sense of the word, but who are performing domestic duties and caring for children like ineffectual weaklings who might as well be castrated.
The Onion spoke to one of these effete, pathetic excuses for men to get his response on the new report.
I love being able to stay home with Angela. I mean, it's a lot of work, but I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
What a fucking pussy. For more on this story, check this week's Onion Review.
Okay, now for those of y'all who don't know, The Onion is a satire site. Okay? It's they're not really putting, it's not a real compilation of news. What they do, right, though, is they do find extreme opinions and whatever, and they kind of just try to put it all together for you to take a look at it. And, this is kind of the route I feel like we're going down a little bit, where it's like, well, it's not quite masculine or manly. At least, that's what women think, or at least that's what Jack thinks women think. So, men, since you are our male representative, Jack, the question is, right, would you think that a stay-at-home dad, or, we'll say stay-at-home dad, not so much just the trophy husband, but a stay-at-home dad is as masculine or could be as alpha as the man who goes out and works?
Yes. And the thing I love about being with the kids when the mother's away, she ain't nagging about the kids are jumping on the bed. They ain't tearing up the doggone bed. Let them jump on the freaking bed. Climb up on the sofa. Climb up on the damn china closet. Let the kids let them have a little bit of their dangerous fun. Let the kids climb trees and do all the crazy stuff that mom think they're going to get hurt doing. Let the kid be a kid. You can do that when the mother's not around.
Okay. Now, I guess, and Vonda pointed it out too. I wanted to point this out specifically, right? So you hear a lot of talk about women and submitting to their wives, right? And then they kind of outline the duties of a submissive wife. And it's basically all of the things that the stay-at-home husband does. or would need to do, right? Taking care of the kids, cooking, the cleaning, the, whatever. So would you see the stay-at-home husband as being under submission of his wife, or, submitting to his wife? Or do you think it's possible, given that he's a stay-at-home and she's a working one, that she would still be submitting to him? Or do you think it's like a third thing altogether?
I'm all about functionality and results. If the kids' grades are great, their behavior is great, the house is taken care of, the money is still coming in from the wife, man, let it be. Let it be. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Oh, sorry, you can go ahead. Sorry. I didn't think you were letting me run things that much. I'm very overwhelmed. I have never in my life run a stream before. This is like terrifying for me. And then so many things had gone wrong earlier, man. And I'm like, I'm going to let Shark down. I'm going to let Shark down. Girl, yes, please drop the link, please.
All right.
But yeah, okay. No, see, the thing is, I'm find it interesting that you said that, just because, there's such a great emphasis on, and I think maybe this is why women are very confused then about when men talk about submission and wives needing to submit and blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, I just do what needs to be done. Is that necessarily submitting? Or if I don't submit, necessarily, does that mean that I didn't cook and clean? Or I think that we're using all these tangible surface things to illustrate something that it doesn't illustrate. You got to get things done. Someone needs to work, unless you have free money. Someone needs to cook. Someone needs to clean. Someone has to make sure the children don't die or kill themselves, right? Like, I mean, everybody, you got roles, you got jobs, and whatever job you're doing doesn't necessarily make you a good husband or wife. It might make you a good functional adult. But yeah. Okay.
But concerning submission, this is one of the biggest arguments I have with a segment of people here on social media. And the thing is, because I've been married before, like I said, for 7 years, we had to deal with a lot of the ups and downs and the nuances and the dynamics that took place within that 7 years. And you basically hit it on the nail. There's tasks and there's expectations that need to be done. And there's going to be some times where, what one person was probably doing, changing job, mental health situation, injury, sickness, the other person's gonna have to pitch in. The other person's got to pull the weight. It's great when both parties can do 100, but there's just gonna be those times where someone's gonna fall short, and you just can't let stuff just lay the way it is. The other person is gonna have to pick up the slack. There's, like you said, there's just things that has to be done: the cooking, cleaning, the homework, a whole list of things. Whoever does it has to be done. Now, there was one thing I had with my wife, ex-wife that is. She used to complain about, she wanted the carpet lines to run a certain way on the floor. And I told her, look, if you want those lines to run the way, if you want those lines to run that way, then you get up here and you vacuum. I'm doing you a favor by vacuuming the floor, and that's one less thing you got to do.
I mean, that's fair, but then, like, on another note, right? At what point would you find it personally disrespectful if you liked things a certain way and your wife refused to do them that way?
It was concerning my clothing. I'm very anal about my clothes. I'm cheap. Let's get it out. I'm cheap. If I can get 20 years out of a winter coat, I'm gonna get my 20 years. So I just basically explained it to her that there's just certain articles of clothing that I preferred washing myself. And if anything happened to it, it got faded, develop a rip or something like that, then that's on me. But everything else, she can have at it. There's just certain things I did not want her washing. Like I said, it's not like she was going to ruin the clothes, but I'm like, yo, I done got 15 years out of this jacket, man. I could have got another 5 years if you wouldn't have put this doggone thing in the doggone dryer such and such a way. I'm just like that.
I'm like that too, especially with anything that could possibly shrink, because I'm slightly tall. I'm not like super tall, but I'm slightly tall. So that means when I buy sweatpants and stuff like they barely are long enough. right? Like they're just perfect. So if they shrink like a quarter of an inch, they're floods. They're terrible. So I'm like that with some stuff too. So I get it. But see, now I think about like, and it sounds so stupid when you're like, oh, the carpet line's running a certain way. And like, why is that important? Right. I found personally, right, within my marriage that it's important for you to respect those things from one another, even if you don't relate or you don't understand or it seems stupid to you, because you're going to have things that seem stupid to them. Right. Even though they're perfectly logical to you, they look at it and they look at you and they're like, this is dumb. Is not that important. And so it's like a mutual reciprocal respecting. I feel like as soon as you, on both sides, right, it only takes one of you to not follow through on that reciprocal respect, and it starts breaking down the lines of communication.
I just told her kick rocks and grow the hell up.
Yeah, I bet you did. I really actually believe you. Okay.
Oh yeah, he did.
Right?
Yeah, he did it.
Let us continue our journey of the trophy husband.
Okay.
I really think you have something there about this trophy husband where women are not even recognizing that's what they want. They just need a guy to fill the space so they can go to their friends' events, go to church, go wherever, show off this guy. He make this amount of money. He drives this kind of car. I got this kind of ring. And don't even realize that you don't want a relationship. You want a trophy husband. You don't care about love. You don't care about duty, because I know that's what Kevin is going to say. And I did mention in a previous video that our grandparents didn't get married for love. And people came for me. They were like, that's not true. Like men were like, that's not true. I can't believe that my grandma didn't love my granddad. And I said, it's not that she didn't love him. They didn't get married because of love. It was like Kevin said, it was a duty. But now we do get married for love. And then when the love is gone,
right, that's it.
It's like, I give up. I
What
quit.
happened? Right.
Let's get a divorce.
Because I've been over here working since I was 13 years old. My meaning of life, biggest thing, is I cannot wait to have a family. I feel like this goes both ways too. I feel like you have divorced parents as well.
Yes.
I feel like most people, when they go through a shitty divorce with their parents, they're either terrified to give their kids the same experience they had, or they are the complete opposite and they want to give their kids everything they didn't have. I'm the second option. I want to have a family so bad because I never experienced going on a family vacation past the age of 5, like, and having a family dinner. The only photo.
No, but you did.
I did,
Not like
but not.
mom and
I mean,
dad
till I was
family.
8. Like my parents got divorced when I was 9, and they were not good for the last couple years of their relationship. The only photo I have of all 4 of us, I don't know if you guys can see this. That's the only photo I have of all 4 of us. So for me, that's why I want to have a family so bad. That's my absolute dream. That's why I worked so hard since I was 13 years old. I cannot wait to get to a point to just raise kids the perfect way, go on family vacations.
So what do you think the secret is?
I'm going to always film videos. I know earlier you said that like my goal is to get rid of my phone because I have so much bullshit in my phone. It stresses me out and it gives me so much anxiety every single day. I think I'll have a phone, but it's not going to be like, I'm not going to be scrolling through Instagram. I'm going to be like, I don't care what anyone else is doing.
But like our goals end up being the same thing.
Yeah.
Staying at
It's just
home.
yours is much easier and less. I guess they have
having
the
someone else do the
same.
work.
They have the same odds of working.
Yes.
But I feel like mine is more like set in stone that it will work.
That is
Like you're like, fuck, you gotta find a rich girl, bro. And let's be real. Your girlfriend right now that you be talking about, oh, she's like the perfect girl. She's a nurse, bro.
Yeah.
Is that enough?
No,
Like,
but she's going back to school to get her doctorate.
I'm not saying it's a bad job. I'm just
No,
saying
it's
for
not.
what you sound like you want.
Oh, I know.
Like you want to live.
I know.
You trying to live. You trying to live like your sister's man's. Is that
Oh
it?
my gosh, dude.
Is that it though? Or like you want to be hot? Like you want to be have more money? Because your sister's
I
husband
feel like I'm so good at living like
are pretty
where-
middle class. You know
Yeah, I agree. I feel like that's like ideal though. It's like who really
how good you trying to live as a single dad, bro? A
just enough
stay-at-home
where I can
dad,
have a dope car and
and
that's
just
about it.
nothing to do.
And nothing to do.
That's it.
I'm a simple guy.
Simple guy.
Just watch some anime.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about family
Lazy
dynamics. Oh yeah, he's lazy as hell. He's amazing. But what I thought was interesting about both of those segments is they were both talking about family in a way, right? So like when the woman in the previous one brought up the fact that, you know, she said, well, no, our grandparents didn't marry for love, they married for duty, and people got all in their feelings about it. No, my granddad loved my grandma or whatever. Right. And then you have these kids, and this is the young generation coming up now having this discussion and, you know, saying, well, being part of divorced family is definitely affecting the way that I see things and the way I want to pursue things. But now let's talk about the lazy kid, right? Because he's incredible. I really, as long as I have a dope car, that's about it. That's where he is.
Yeah,
right?
that's where he is.
Good. But did you notice that the other guy, he was like, oh, you want to be like your sister's man's? Is that it? And he didn't answer. But the answer was yes. So what he's seen work, right? Because his parents are divorced. What he's seen work is his sister and her husband. And in that relationship, he don't do nothing, right? The sister's husband ain't about nothing. He sits on his butt, probably watches some anime, twiddles his thumbs. He doesn't earn nothing. He gets permission to go places. You know, maybe she'll buy him a car. You know, she's gotta borrow the credit card, stuff like that. And he's good with that, right? So it seems like family has a lot to do with this as far as your family influences, right? Yeah. So with that being said, do you guys think at all, based on your family experiences, right, that it might change the way you see even what the word trophy husband means, or whether or not you would want to be one or have one?
I think you can go. You can go. I guess we both stuck at the intersection here, ain't we?
Go ahead, Mr. Jack.
Go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, I think it can influence it. To what degree, I'm not too sure about that. But my biggest thing was, you're supposed to go through cuck in training stage. This kid, he's already a freaking cuck. Like he went from 1 to 10 within like a year or two. He's already a freaking cuck.
He's happy. He said he had no responsibilities, no pressures. He doesn't have to do nothing except for the occasional thing that his nurse girlfriend asks him to do, right? And of course, his nurse girlfriend is going for her PhD, so it's not like he's going to have to live off a nurse's salary for long. You know, he's good. He's got it playing out. He can play anime, play video games. That's his bliss. But
and he's gonna end up getting a rude awakening when either A, she kicks him out, or 2, he comes home and she's bent over the couch with some other dude.
So, I just want to point out, though, that in fairness, both of these very young kids, their ultimate goal is, as soon as is humanly possible, for them to not have to work, right? You go back a couple generations and men were like dying at work at 80. Like they didn't want to retire. You had to force retirement on them. But now these young kids, they don't want to work, and they don't even care what the dynamic is for them to get to that place. They don't want it. So I think more and more of them really actually want to be trophy husbands in the typical Jefferson Darcy sense. Up next, we got our girl Vonda. Hey girl, hey, how you doing?
Greetings.
Hey Shar, hey Ruby. Hello Jack Spade. How's everybody doing this evening?
Good.
Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday in some parts of the United States.
Okay. Well, okay. The trophy husband, you know what? At the end of the day, it's to each his own. You know, this guy, you know, is, you know, I don't know if he's classified or does he classify himself as a trophy husband. To me, a trophy husband is Magic Mike. A trophy husband, he looks good. He's got the thighs. He's got the pecs. He's got the magic stick. He's got everything. He looks good. Everything about him is just aesthetically pleasing. And I agree with you, Jack Spade. He is a younger man, most likely, you know. So it's like, okay, so that's what it trophies look good. Nobody's putting an ugly trophy up in the living room. Trophies are pretty. They're gold, they have jewels on them, they're adorned, you know, nicely. You know, they have your name on it. They're specified and personalized to you. That trophy is yours. You're not taking home a trophy with someone else's name on it. That trophy is yours. So yeah, it can be earned depending on what the situation is, but it also can be paid for. You know, what this guy does, you know, it sounds like, you know, he's earning his keep. He's earning his room and board. He's doing what needs to be done because this is his contribution to the household. And if he's going to contribute to the household, he's going to, you know, be the best at it. You know, he's, you know, making the bed and, you know, bringing her stuff while she's in the shower and making sure she gets off to her day. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I mean, you know, I would like that, you know, but, you know, when you're talking about, you know, like your partner for life, I mean, if it works out to be that way, I would think it would be, you know, comfortable or at least, you know, a lot easier to swallow if, you know, it was a situation where, you know, oh, you know, my job dried up or, you know, COVID, you know, because of COVID, I lost my job and, you know, so now I have to go in a different industry. But in the meantime, you know, this is what I'm going to do. Not I'm going to be at home, not doing anything. And you come home and the house look just as worse as it did before you left that morning.
Right.
At least do something. I mean, come on, at least do something. So, I mean, he's doing what he needs to be doing. But my thing is, I think a trophy husband is somebody that looks good. You know, there's a difference between a trophy husband and a stay-at-home dad. Just,
so like,
you know.
You don't think the guy on the screen right now could qualify as a trophy husband?
You know what? No. He doesn't favor like Mike at all. No, not or Mike Magic Mike. Even like Mike. I mean, that's a basketball. You know, trophies look good. If you're talking about a trophy looks good. You're not going to, you know, pick the ugliest trophy, you know, on the stage. Nobody's doing that.
That is true. That is true. But hold on, I want to play what this guy says before I give my answer to what you said, because he kind of addresses all of it. So let's take a listen.
I've been trying to be a more confident person. I read that somewhere that you ladies, you like it when your man is confident. So I've been letting everybody know that I'm a trophy husband. Pretty proud of that. Gonna put that out there. Not the joke, man, but thanks for laughing. That was not the joke. Trying to work on my confidence. And you're laughing right in my face. Welcome to Provo, Utah. I pointed it out to my wife. I'm like, you snagged yourself a trophy husband, didn't you? She's like, oh, I sure did, big boy. Woo! Just didn't realize I was competing in one of them leagues where everybody gets a trophy. She competed for me.
Okay. So our trophy husband video is over. We'll be moving on to trophy wives shortly. But see, now he addressed it. And I think that this is an important point. A few times it's been brought up, mostly by the comedians, right? But they're talking about how, yeah, they're trophy husband. There's participation trophy, right? The thing is, right? And we do know there are participation trophies now. There's this whole society where everyone gets a prize, everyone gets a trophy. But like, not everyone's going to get the first place trophy anyway. Right? Like I think that when you're talking about Magic Mike and whatever, right? Magic Mike that also cooks and cleans,
you know.
Like, but when you're talking about, like, you know, the Adonis looking guy who also cooks and cleans and rubs your feet, you're kind of talking about the first place trophy, and it comes down to, well, what competition are you really in, ma'am? Like, do you really think that you deserve the first place trophy? Because maybe you deserve a trophy, but maybe it's like 10th place, right? I mean, like, I'm just saying.
Hey, you know what? That's you're talking about the actual trophy that's earned. Hey, if you ran a 10th place race, then that's the trophy you're going to get if there's a trophy that goes that far. But there's also paid for. Now, if you paid for first place,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to cost you, but you're going to get Magic Mike. You're not going to get Michael Keaton from Mr. Mom. That's not what you're getting for first place trophy.
Well,
True.
that's true, but I mean, how do we even judge? And I mean, this is like, I think it's a fair question when the guys ask this, like, well, do you really think that you deserve first place? I mean, do we have to be objective about that? Shouldn't we be objective about that?
If you can afford it, then you deserve it. You know, that in some cases, that's what it is, depending on what the situation is. You know, it all depends on what the situation is. There's a wide range from A to Z, you know, of the situations. There are some, you know, people that are looking just for that right situation, you know?
Well, yeah, but like maybe your right situation is third place in the Paralympics, right? Like it's not like that is lesser. I mean, you still got a trophy. Congratulations, right? It's just not the same thing as first place in, you know, the Winter Olympic Games. Like it's just not, right? Like you have to kind of accept sometimes just what competition are you even playing in? And I think that we don't do that a lot when we're talking about the trophy thing. And I'm saying on both sides, when we're talking about the trophy thing, we don't even assess what competition we're even running in, let alone what the prize for beating that competition should be. Like, we're just like, well, no, I know what kind of trophy I want. And so, like, I want a Golden Globe, even though I'm singing at a local festival, right? Like that's what I want. I want a Grammy, even though I'm just playing at my high school talent show, right? And I want the trophy that comes with, you know, being a multi-billion records selling artist, even though I'm only currently performing at the high school talent show. Like I think that we're okay with that, even though it's not really fair, because like if everyone just gets a Grammy or just gets a whatever Golden Globe or whatever, well then the trophy itself is kind of useless, right? First prize doesn't mean anything anymore. Then we're in participation trophies and everyone gets one and they're all equal because apparently everyone's performance is equal.
So are you saying that the outside people have to agree on the level of your trophy? Is that what you're getting at?
I'm saying, because I don't think everyone will, right? Like even if it's objective, because again, there's a lot of subjective opinion. There's a lot of subjective opinion and stuff, right? I mean, you hear people saying all the time that they don't like big girls at all. Over size 6, that's it, they're out. And then you hear other guys saying, nah, man, under a size 12, I don't want it. So I mean, you know, there is a subjective measure there. But like objectively, what race are you running? Like if you've never pushed hard in your life and you're working customer service, maybe 45K a year, you know, you don't work out, you don't really know how to cook, you don't really clean often, you don't really like, you know what I mean? If your whole list is a bunch of you don't reallys, right? Like then do you still deserve the Magic Mike first place trophy? Or like,
if you can
isn't
afford
a
it,
participation trophy good enough?
And he's willing
to
take
afford
the job. If you can afford it, and if he's willing to take that job, that stinky job, then oh well, you know, everybody has their price, and even Magic Mike has his price.
Right,
you
but
know,
you think Magic Mike's price is 45K? I mean, let's be honest, right? Because the top echelon, right, the 9s and 10s of the world, right, they're a rare commodity, and they also work hard to maintain themselves that way, right? So do you think that you're not really trying to do anything, don't really have much to offer, work just enough so that way I'm not under the poverty line, no motivation to really do any better, no real interest in improving? Do you really think like that objectively deserves like the top trophy prize? Or like, don't you think if you're kind of like blah about life, then you getting a blah trophy is kind of what you've earned?
I think if
Well,
those are the merits that you're going off of, then that might be just what's up your alley. That might be just exactly what's suited for you. You know.
and also, a lot of it slips through the cracks too.
True.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. You got anything to say, Jack, before we start the trophy wife video?
Of course, I got something to say. If a woman wants herself a people's champ or a LeBron James version of a trophy man, then knock your socks off, baby. But there's a reason why Michael Jordan ain't dunked the ball in over 20 years, and the Last Dance show was still must see TV. That is the trophy. And of course, LeBron James would never get the same shine as Michael Jordan because he ain't got the 6 rings. Oh, 6 rings and no losses.
Well, yeah. I mean, wasn't Magic Johnson a really great trophy at one time, though? I mean, objectively, wasn't he an
Oh, see,
amazing
here we
player?
go. Here
No,
we go.
I'm
We
just
talking
saying.
about
He
Michael
the
Jordan.
trophy before. Dun dun dun.
No,
Yeah.
I'm saying because here's the issue, right? So you've got these players who are all stars and they're amazing players and they have these amazing track records, right? And like we know about Magic Johnson because he was actually honest and forthright with the world. Kind of had no choice in a way because the world was still very scared of HIV then. But I mean, it comes down to he was a prize. He was a trophy, just like Michael was a trophy. We don't know anything about Michael's personal life or what it is to be with him or what issues he might have, right? We don't really know. And that's why I'm saying, I'm like, we got to be objective. So we do have to evaluate their accomplishments and their looks and their agility and their health and all those. We have to evaluate them very high. Right. But like, I do think that we have to give a little bit of wiggle room there for the parts that we don't know about that, because no one's perfect. Pretty much.
The
What?
only
What do you mean? You
the
said
only
nobody's
wiggle.
perfect?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You think some people are perfect?
The only wiggle a
Yeah.
trophy man has is when he walks in the room and he has this aura. That's the only wiggle room he got. If he ain't got that aura, like when Rick James steps in the room, he ain't a trophy husband.
But
That's
but
all I
the
really
thing
know.
is that anyone who would resort to allowing themselves to be a trophy is someone who doesn't have the money, so they're being a trophy for the payout. I mean that would be the only reason for being a trophy. Rick James, he made his own money. So he's not a trophy. He might be a trophy, like, oh my God, I got Rick James. But I mean, he's not the trophy. He's not going to be sitting up there, bumping and grinding for you. He's not working for you. Was already, a man with his own stuff. He came to it with his own stuff. When we're talking about trophies, you're talking about someone that doesn't have more than that knapsack and, those good abs and, some, swivel hips to go with it. Their talent is, far and few in between. They don't have a wide range of talent, but they look good. They're pretty. They have certain things they can do maybe, to fit your need, but they're not already self-sufficient people. They're not already out there, doing their own thing. Or else why would anybody go to the lowest level is to be a trophy, just to be based on just what your looks are?
Yes. If it gets me what I want, of course.
But that's what I'm
remember-
saying. I'm saying that's the least amount of effort you'd have to put into yourself just for that. Somebody like a Rick James is above a trophy. That's what I'm just trying to say. I'm trying to say somebody like a Rick James would be above a trophy.
No, I just said Rick James because Charlie Murphy, Hollywood Story, he said when Rick James walked in the door, he had aura around him. So that's what I was saying about the guy. The guy has to have an aura.
I understand.
I think the thing is, right, is we have a conception about what trophy husband or trophy wife means. And this is why I was saying, like, no, it continues to evolve. It didn't stay static, right? But what? So you know what? Let me show y'all this screen here, because it talks about it. So I'm gonna stop sharing this, and I'm gonna show you guys the original, because like I said, it was actually here we go, share. Sorry, Fortune. When Fortune coined the term trophy wife in 1989, the phrase was used to describe the young, beautiful, and accomplished second wives of powerful men. Okay. So it was not actually, it never meant the dumb, airheaded, blonde bimbo who has no skills or talents or job of her own. She's just beautiful. And so he scooped her up as a second wife, and that's it. She's got nothing. She's nobody. He scooped her out of some diner making minimum wage and she has nothing. No, that was never what the trophy wife actually really was. And if you look at the richest of the rich, right, what we see is we don't see that trend of a dumb idiot who's worth absolutely nothing without her husband's money. We actually don't see that trend at all. We see people who are well accomplished. We see people who, they might not be accomplished as far as fame, right, but they're very accomplished in the field, sometimes in the sciences, sometimes in the maths or engineering or something like that. You know, sure, you might see models, but the model's normally a model and a business person before they've met their husbands, because really brilliant, rich men, wealthy men, they are not looking for beautiful, empty-headed people. And you know what? We're going to see that when we watch the video. We're going to see an example of a man who made a decision like that. Oh, well, she's blonde and she's beautiful and she's worthless at everything. I know, I'll marry her. And we'll see how that played out for him. It wasn't well. That's my hint. So let's take a look at this video. Like I said, y'all, if you want me to stop before I do, just let me know.
Alrighty.
Here we go. Okay. Oops. There we go. And play.
This guy's looking at me like you never saw a trophy wife in Pasadena. It's just, what's going on? Thank you. You like this? Thank you. Oh, you like everything, like the shoes? Thank you. You know, Pasadena is very fancy. So I wanted to blend.
It is a fear of mine that people don't take me seriously. I've always thought of the term as being something positive. I am a trophy wife. I am a trophy wife. I would be delighted to be known as a trophy wife. I love it.
So they say, okay, so you know the saying, happy wife, happy life, right? Well, a new study says seeking out a trophy wife or a rich husband may lead to a stronger marriage for some people. Can't wait to talk about this one. The study looked at maximizers, or people always looking to make the best possible choice from what to eat, what shoes to buy, or what spouse to choose as their life partner. It found that men with more attractive wives were more satisfied at the start of the marriage, and women with high status husbands were more satisfied over time. Now, it also found that maximizers tend to compare to past relationships, so it may take longer for them to commit.
Yeah.
This is one of those things.
You know, they also talked
Oof,
about those
yeah.
who are not as selective and also being content. You know, I would think that those, sorry, I'm having issues with my earpiece here, but those who are not as selective, I would say just happy all around, right? I mean, not always comparing and contrasting.
But he was basically telling a woman that her degree didn't matter. He was telling her that the accomplishments that basically she got or that she wanted to pursue, she should forego that and focus on the marriage, the husband, and the children. And I thought that was a little unfair because
So all in all, a trophy wife is a high value woman in our eyes. She's well-rounded, she has hobbies and interests. She works on bettering herself every single day, whether it's physically, mentally, educating herself. She surrounds herself with good people. She dresses for herself, not for other people. And she just loves herself and puts all her energy and effort into building herself. And then when she loves herself so much, she'll be ready to go and find someone else to love.
Yeah, and she'll love that man and be a great, great woman to herself and to that man.
Yeah.
That's him. Everybody look like you're gardening. Luke, grab that little hoe.
I don't. Do you guys know who that is? That is Lana Rhoades.
a former professional cream gobbler, and she's telling a woman how to become a trophy wife. This is like a homeless man, a bum, telling another man how to become the next Jeff Bezos of Amazon. Alakablam. Lana Rhodes is like a participation trophy, and everybody gets one. I mentioned this. Lana Rhodes has 1 million subscribers on her YouTube channel, and she is giving woman dating advice. This is the blind leading the blind, because in Cheek Slaying Collaborations chapter Thoughtstronomy, verse 777, it states, if she gets railed for a living and takes fresh rockets the size of a Southwest aircraft, her relationships are never meant to last because she has too many bodies in her sexual past.
Wow.
All right. So let's take our first break. So as y'all can see, there's a wide variety of opinions already coming up about the trophy wife.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that there's a kind of a consensus, or I thought there was, that the trophy wife was young, hot, and beautiful. But then you have the woman at the beginning who said she's a trophy wife. And we'll have another one of her, not her, but another woman who is overweight and maybe not young, who calls herself a trophy wife. So right there, you have women who are saying, well, no, sorry, you don't have to be young or thin or hot, really, right? I'm still a trophy wife anyway.
Can I make a sexist statement to close this out?
Go on. Go ahead.
Here's the problem, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Women do not define what the heck a doggone trophy wife is. Their job is to not think about it, but put in the work, get chosen. Unfortunately, you got too many of these women that was on there trying to define a trophy wife to fit them. No. It don't work like that. The men who have the capacity to be able to pull trophy wives define what a trophy wife is. Like I said, their job is to get in their spot, play their position, and hope they get chosen. That's all they got to do. That's all they got to do. Ain't no redefining it. No. Get yourself in that position and try to get chosen. That's it.
Let me ask you a question about the catch-22 you just threw out there. Because you said that the men who can get the trophy wives define what a trophy wife is. Right? So, but like that's almost crazy, because that would be like, well, if you could get XYZ woman, then you could define her as a trophy wife, right? Because you got her. So wouldn't there already have to be a defined standard out there for what a trophy wife is to evaluate the kind of guy who can get a trophy wife for him to be able to say, yeah, that's a trophy wife? Do you see what I'm saying? Like the qualification of getting her, getting a wife, getting a woman, and then allowing her to basically be arm candy as you parade around. Doesn't have to work, doesn't have to clean, doesn't have to do nothing but sleep with you and, lie around in her bed all day, right? Like you're defining that for yourself, and you give that lifestyle to any woman in the world. And you might not think that woman's a trophy wife, but if she's living the trophy wife life, isn't she a trophy wife?
Okay, let's look at it this way.
Mm-hmm.
I own a 2018 Suzuki Boulevard motorcycle. I got it kind of decked out. It looks like a Harley Davidson, but when somebody walks by it that knows what a Harley Davidson is, they ain't going to say, is that a Harley Davidson? A Harley Davidson is a Harley Davidson. Even though my bike looks like it from a distance, it ain't a Harley Davidson.
So you said there's no mistaking.
There is no universal mistaking. A Harley Davidson is a Harley Davidson.
But you just gave the exact example that I was saying, which is that someone else defined what a Harley Davidson was, which is namely a bike made by this company called Harley Davidson. So the problem is, right, is that first there was a definition, right? And the definition is a bike made by this company, right? It's not the people who can afford to buy the bike that are defining it as a Harley Davidson, right? It already has a definition, and now who can afford one and who can't. right? So that's my issue with what you said, is that you were saying that the people who can afford the trophy wife define the trophy wife, but that doesn't make any sense, because there first has to be a definition of what a trophy wife is in order for us to evaluate who can afford one and who can't.
And Jack, can you give me a definition of yours, what a trophy wife is?
Considerably younger, a minimum of 15 years younger. She has to be attractive looking. She has to be in shape. When she walks in the room, all eyes turns towards her. And then folks give the guy a thumbs up. That's the trophy wife. That's the trophy wife. And she can be the dumbest thing walking through the door. It doesn't matter. She's got to have you've got to look. I want to know better. I guess I aged myself on that one.
Is that Sassoon or Jordan?
Jordan.
I remember that coming home from school.
Now, what's interesting about that is we are actually going to hear later from a high value man who can afford whatever definition of trophy wife you want that disagrees with your definition. But for now, y'all, let's get into the story I said I wanted to play. Now, this video, just so we're all clear, actually didn't get the full all clear from YouTube. So I did run it through, like I said. And technically, whoever is hosting this video is going to get all your money for this video, just so we're clear. But they're allowing us to play it. So let's listen to what happens when you pick the young, hot chick, because now you finally have access to her. This is Kitchen Nightmares, y'all. I love this show. Okay.
Who's that?
That's me and Saki. Saki and I.
What a gorgeous picture.
Thank you.
How long ago was that?
5 years.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
My goodness me. How did all this start?
It started because I was bartending at the restaurant.
Is that how you first met?
That's how we met.
Saki. Okay, great.
Actually, I lied to get the job.
How did you manage that?
He just asked if I had experience. I said yes, but he realized when I poured my first beer out of the tap that I didn't know what I was doing because it was foaming everywhere. And it was just...
So he was the owner. You were obviously shaking his cocktails.
Yeah.
Clearly, he had a soft spot instantly.
He
Did
does.
you have a soft spot for him?
No.
No, why?
He's not someone I would typically go for or physical appearances.
The age difference between both of you is what?
16 years. People think I'm a trophy wife or I'm gold digging. It was never like that. I mean, he wooed me for 8 months. We went everywhere. We went to Hawaii. We went to shows. We went to concerts. And then I realized I loved him. He's my beast.
Fast forward, your relationship with Saki now, how's that changed?
It's not doing good.
So just help me understand that.
It's very strange because we remodeled. We took a risk, and the remodel was, $1 million.
Damn! How can you amass such a large amount? Did you have the budget?
I didn't have a budget. He told me to go pick out what I like. That's like sending a lady into a designer shoe store with no price tags on the shoes.
Oh my God.
So it wasn't until after I found out that the bar was $40,000.
Wow.
And the little glitter tiles in the women's bathroom, I picked those out, but I didn't know they were $100 each.
So we can't all blame him.
That's where I beat myself up and I get mad at myself.
I don't know.
Okay. So let's talk about it. So,
okay, didn't you say trophy wives are accomplished? What, she was not accomplished in math. That's for damn sure.
No. And see, this is my issue. This is my issue in general with using the definition that Mr. Spade was using, right? It's because in general, intelligent, successful, wealthy men don't pick women whose heads are full of bricks. And that's it. But they're hot and they're young and you finally have access to one. That's not what they choose. And this is exactly why they don't choose women like that, because they have no common sense at all. But they also understand as men, right, that, a really young, hot, pretty thing is going to have some influence on you and might have you agreeing to things maybe you wouldn't normally agree to. But definitely they'll have access to things that can destroy you. Like in this case, this idiot didn't try to destroy him. She wasn't trying to bankrupt him in his business. She's just an idiot.
$1 million? He was the idiot, not her. He was the idiot. It was his money.
Yep. And he let her go buck wild. Yeah, pick out whatever you want, baby. Oh, really? Okay, I'm gonna pick this and this
I'm gonna
and
get the
this
gold
and this.
ones. I'm gonna get the gold ones.
Right.
Oh
But
Lord.
they're pretty and they sparkle. I'm gonna cover the whole entire bathroom in them. $100 a tile. Like, no, she didn't know. She didn't know until he was already $1 million in debt. Right. So this is what happens when you go by this new fangled definition that she's just young and hot with no intelligence, no, like, nothing. Right.
Well,
And
he was dumb for leaving young and hot in charge of the bank book. That was idiotic.
Well, let me ask this question. So why? So is it better that she doesn't? I mean, that she's what's the nice word of saying it? She's not that intelligent. Is that just the best thing for a very young, beautiful woman?
she's a moron with no employable skills. She can't even, after all her times hanging out in bars, pour a passable glass of beer. Like, that's how worthless she is.
And what happened with her parents? Why is not this being mentioned that her parents failed her and all that kind of
But
rhetoric?
wait a minute. We're saying she's failed because she doesn't know how to decorate, under $1 million budget. Who has that problem?
No,
except for people with money. The average person and the average dodo bird does not have that issue. She was thrust into a situation where she had all this money, she had all this decision-making power, which the fool who had the $1 million to burn gave to her. He gave her full force. He knew she didn't have any knowledge in this shit. They were both a mess.
No, Vonda, here, let me ask you a question. Okay. You don't have experience working with $50 million. You don't, right? Nor do you have experience, I'm guessing, based on what I know about you, renovating a restaurant.
Nope,
right?
Not at all.
So, with that being said, you have common sense and life experience. So if you were put into that position where now you're married to a man who has those black cards and whatever, and he put you in charge of the decorating the home or the restaurant or whatever, would you just mindlessly just point at pretty things and say, yeah, as much as we need, and that's it? Or
I
would you use some
personally,
common
I personally wouldn't do that. I would be a little bit better about it, but the fact of the matter is that's just me personally. When she was making these decisions, he had to check off something, or he gave her a limit and said, here, this is your limit, do whatever. Or he said, you know what, go for what you know. And she's like, okay, I'm going to go for what's pretty. We found out where they met. It's not like he met her at the college and she was graduating, at the top of her class. It was nothing like that. He met her at a bar, or she was a cocktail waitress, and she was the youngest and prettiest one there. And they sparked up some, conversation. It was like, oh, okay, hey. She even said, he's not the kind that I go for. Well, then why did you go for his kind then? I wonder what the appeal was. If he's not the average kind, the usual kind that you go for, it was because of the money. So she went for him for the money, and he gave her carte blanche with his money. And in the whole thing, they created this debt. Now they're saying, Gordon, can you help us? Because this is our
Vonda,
story.
You missed it. She said she's not a gold digger and she is not a trophy wife. Okay. He pursued her for like 8 months. Okay. He took her to Florida and to Miami and to all these luxurious places. Right? That proves that this is the real thing, Vonda. You missed it. This is the hilarious thing. She doesn't consider herself to be a gold digger or a trophy wife. She sat there and said, no, he's not my type. No, I wasn't sweet on him. Nope. Don't think he's attractive. Don't think this. Don't think that. But I'm not a gold digger or a trophy wife. No, not at all. Okay, so what's wrong? Oh, well, I accidentally bankrupted him. What? That's really what she said. Here's the thing.
She must still care about him, because the young trophy pretty thing is gonna be like, well, I bankrupted him. Pew, they be gone. She's like, no, let's try to work it out, because you know what? After all, even though he's not the type of guy I go for, I messed around and I fell in love with this old fool with the big belly. Now she loves him. I mean, apparently, or else why would it be even to her benefit to work it out unless she's, trying to work it out and get him out of debt so that she can knock him off and then get the money. I mean, I don't know
There you go.
how deep is her story.
Well, that's the thing, right? And it does go back to what Shar asked. I do think her parents failed her. I think educational institutions failed her. I think her friends failed her. I think the world fails very beautiful people. Right?
Ruby.
And no, I do. And the thing is, part of it is not their fault, right? Because we automatically treat beautiful people differently. We do. We believe
they're given a
beautiful
false sense of
people.
security. Yeah, beautiful people are given a false sense of security, and they don't
Well, it's not
realize
even
that
false. It's a
they
very
don't even
real
have
sense
that
of security.
security.
Oh no, it's a very real sense of security because this woman bankrupted that man and she ain't out on the street, right? He's still making sure she eats and she wears pretty clothes and her hair is getting done. You think she's doing it herself? No. See, here's the thing. This is part of the issue, right? Is the pretty child, right? And I'm just being honest. The prettiest child gets favorable attention from their parents, gets a pass for doing the wrong things, gets understanding and a pat on the head when they don't have any form of motivation or drive because they're beautiful. Because that's the way the world treats beautiful people, right? Just like she walked into this job, literally couldn't do it, and he hired her anyway. If she was
Because she was
ugly,
pretty. Yeah.
right? If she was ugly, then never would have happened, right? That's just the way it is. So I do think that everyone fails beautiful people all the time because we don't hold them accountable for anything. And so they never learn to be accountable for anything. And any beautiful person that actually has a personality, intelligence, drive, motivation, stuff like that, they weren't always beautiful. There's some point in their lives where they were unattractive and bullied, and that's when they developed a personality. The beauty came later. Guaranteed. That's what happened with me. I'm not even gonna lie. I would not have the personality I have if I had started beautiful with all the perks of beauty, right? But I didn't start off that way. I hit beautiful around 15, 16,
Well,
right?
that's
Before that,
that's
not
the
too much.
beauty. That's the beauty of a late bloomer. I mean, I was a late bloomer, and you know what? And I'm glad and grateful for it. You know, we come into our own. At different ages. It just happens. But everybody, you have that little ugly duckling stage, and some people grow out of it, some people don't. You evolve. But I just think that so much emphasis is always placed on looks, and there's a certain time in our life where looks do really matter. But
you're beautiful.
but I think the person, I think that the connection you have with people, how you feel about people, and I think right now their outsides don't mesh because his outsides didn't really mesh with her, but she got with him anyway. Her outsides really meshed with him, and look at her. She's older. She does not look the same way she did in that picture that they flashed. She's older. You can see some wrinkles and little crinkles and crepiness in her face, but she wants to work. Yeah, exactly. The wall is staring her dead in her face. So, but hey, they still trying to work it out. It's like, okay, I love his big belly behind now, and he's like, I like her little wrinkles around her eyes. She's not the little pretty thing, but they're trying to work it out. So I mean, I guess sometimes you outgrow it. In some cases, the trophy tarnishes. The trophy tarnishes, gets dust on it.
There's two things I wanted to chime in on. Number one, when it comes down to gold diggers, there are very few legitimate gold diggers walking this planet. Legitimate gold diggers, they are groomed and trained by other gold diggers. And there's one thing people will notice if they paid attention. True gold diggers do not get on television. They do not get on social media. The sport team owners' wives, the people that's on the level of like Paris Hilton, like her mother, those women do not get on television and advertise anything about their gold digging skills. And those women, they keep a very close knit group. They don't let anybody in. Like I said, true gold diggers, they are groomed and trained by other legitimate gold diggers. Anything outside of that is a nickel and dimer. That young lady, the women that's on Housewives of Atlanta and all those kind of shows, those are just upscale nickel and dimers. Second point.
I just want to respond really fast and say,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not saying she's a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke. Go ahead, girl. Go ahead. Get
No,
down.
she's a nickel and dime. Number two, when a man marries a woman, when a man brings a woman into his life, he's got to know her up, down, left, right. He has to know her weaknesses and her strengths. And those weaknesses and strengths, he has to respect it and treat her accordingly. This is a gentleman who he probably knew what her strengths and weaknesses of, but he just didn't respect it enough to put limits on her. Look, my wife,
He didn't
I
care.
knew her.
Simply put, he didn't care.
My wife, I knew her strengths and weaknesses, and there were just some things I just would not let her do because her weaknesses would end up getting us not in a situation like that, because I wouldn't let that happen. But she was kind of weak with the money, so I put limits on her on what she can spend and how she could spend it.
I'm sure he did now. I'm sure he's limited now.
But that's something that this gentleman didn't know. He didn't respect from the get-go.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You're absolutely correct.
Now, based on the picture that they had up on the wall, it was in black and white now. So black and white, because of contrast, it does hide some things. But she looks like a legitimate, based on that picture, a legitimate trophy wife. Attractive, based on the picture, in shape. Her job is just to make me, not me, but make him look good. That's it. That was it.
Yeah, but she really didn't make him look good, and she kind of bankrupted him in the process of making him look like he's incompetent as far as managing his money.
Well, Pops was afraid to pull that whip out. That was his problem.
Yeah, he allowed that. I agree. He allowed that. I mean, this man got to where he was. He got to where he was before she was even born. So you mean to tell me she's going to waltz into his life and she's going to bankrupt him and he didn't have a hand to play in it? You know what? He might have been at a point where he was like, you know what? I don't care. I'll just let her do whatever she wants because I want her to be happy. You know, he was slipping on his game. But I don't think she came in and did anything, malicious that he didn't let happen. They were both willing accomplices.
And you know what? Later on,
he gave her the rope, and she turned around and hung him with it.
Well, yeah, and later on, we're gonna actually hear someone. I told you he disagrees with your opinion on what a trophy really is. What men like him or like this guy should be really looking for. And he actually addresses that. A few people do. So it's gonna be an interesting journey. Let's continue.
Oh, and before we move on, I'd like to send a shout out to Simply Neat. She hit it right on the nail. Prison Bay. He was a trophy husband. Still is a trophy husband.
Yeah. Okay. Prison Bay. Yeah. There's no other way we could define him. So let's continue.
Myself up and I get mad at myself.
I don't know what to do, man. She said she's ready. She's like, I want to be your trophy wife. And I'm like, honey, trophies don't talk. Or gain weight. You know what I'm saying? Like, ooh, it's tough. I know. It's late, ladies, I get it. I know it's a double standard. It's not fair. But let's be honest, ladies, y'all have all the other double standards that work in your favor. Everything that you love is a double standard, like lingerie. See, that's a double standard. You look nice in a shirt. I bet you look better in a bra. Look nice in jeans. I bet you look better in a thong. You know why? Because ladies look better the more clothes they take off. Men, on the other hand, we look better the more clothes we put on. Women say it all the time. I love a man in a uniform. I love a fireman. You know how many clothes a freaking fireman is wearing?
So a woman, a fat woman, was denied flights at an airport because of her very revealing outfit. The woman's name on TikTok is called Fat Trophy Wife. I like her already. Let's see her content. See if the feeling stays. She's a rapper, a stylist, an entrepreneur. Dang it, it said entrepreneur before, but now I guess she changed it to an influencer. Oh, and she's got a YouTube channel. We'll check that out later. Actually, we're not. There wasn't anything on there that would add to this video. So sorry. Right now, let's see her TikTok.
lesson.
People, I'm just
Welcome back.
Right. Okay. So, as I told you, we would see another big boned woman calling herself a trophy wife. Right. So she is a trophy wife. Now we hear the contrast, right? We have the man saying, "Baby, trophies don't talk or gain weight," implying that obviously she does both. Now, and then you have the fat. I don't know if y'all remember this fat trophy wife. She was kicked off of a plane because she was wearing like a little bra top kind of thing. And then they asked her to put her shirt on, and she did. And it was very tight, but not revealing. And they kicked her off the plane anyway, telling her she's not dressed appropriately because there was like an inch of belly skin showing, right? Like one of those little crop top things. So anyway, this is how she gained the fame and the notoriety, and people realize she's calling herself a trophy wife. I noticed that in all of the things she listed, she didn't actually list being married. That wasn't in her list. She's an influencer. She's a rapper. She's all these things. She was an entrepreneur, but now she's an influencer because the internet's paying attention to her.
So you don't know if she's married or it's not clear whether she's married.
It's not clear whether she's married. So I don't know if she's calling herself a trophy
Maybe
wife.
that's her audition. Hey, I'll be the trophy wife.
Right.
You know?
So, and okay, so Jackie, you said, right? Women cannot define what a trophy is, right? To men. But let's say she is married, right? And she's living the trophy wife lifestyle, right? She gets an allowance. She can buy whatever, look all pretty. He whisks her away to romantic paradises. She don't have to cook and clean and nothing. She just got to show up on his arm every once in a while, right? Is it the man defined her as a trophy? Is that valid or invalid?
I would say it was valid.
It's universally defined what a trophy wife is. Now, like I said, going back to LeBron James, he can call himself a GOAT all he wants, but at the end of the day, Michael Jordan in this modern era is the trophy. 6-0.
Based on what? Just on that statement you just made. Based on what?
Six championship wins, 0 losses.
Okay.
So now there's criteria placed with it. So basically what, Ruby is saying, what is the criteria? The static criteria across the board, for the trophy wife. And this woman, she's busting out her criteria does not fit what we saw before. It's like she's not any of that. So for me, I think that trophy wife, at some point becomes relative to the man who's calling the woman the trophy.
Right. And I mean, I would think
some man, she is a trophy, but to maybe, other men's like that, she no trophy of mine, but to some man, she might be the ultimate woman. So
right. And see, that's my issue with even using Michael Jordan as a standard, right? So I want to ask you why, and you said 6 championships, no losses, whatever. But here's the thing, right? Like you care about that. Men who follow basketball care about that. But women, I mean, not all women, some women care about sports, but most don't. And there's also a lot of men who don't, right? You have a lot of actually, I guess what they would qualify as high value men, right? Wealthy men who are making 7 figures or more, who don't value a man like Michael Jordan, right? I've heard Kevin Samuels literally say he's not referring to basketball or like sports players or musicians or whatever. That's not the same thing as a man who goes in and builds a business from the ground up and is now wealthy from that aspect. You're wealthy because you're really good at a sport. It's not the same thing. So, I mean, even just your definition of who you're using, that varies depending on which man you're asking.
But there's a difference between Kevin Samuels and Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan can get off an airplane in Tokyo, Japan, and I guarantee you half of that airport will know who he is. They can't speak a lick of English, but they know Michael Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Michael Jordan.
That is true, but here's the issue, right? The most wealthy people in the world, most of us would not recognize. but it doesn't mean that they are of less value or status just because we wouldn't recognize them, right? Because the most wealthy people in the world are not famous, right? They're wealthy. So, I mean, what standards are you going by? How famous you are? And that, if that's the case, then Alex from Target is just as valuable as Michael Jordan because everyone would recognize him if he stepped out in an airport. It happened to him, right? So, I mean, like with social media and all the clout that comes with social media and whatnot, I don't think you can necessarily use fame or recognizability as a factor of, you know, a man's inherent value.
All right. Well, I to this day, even though, like I said, the marriage lasted for 7 years and we've been divorced since 2008. To this day, I can still say that my wife was a great catch, but I will never, ever open my mouth and tell anybody that she was a trophy wife.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Never.
And that's
Never.
just based on what your, definition of what a trophy wife is, correct? And that's what you
I
stated
would
to us earlier.
never, ever, ever. I don't care how, she was an upgradable 5. I still found her attractive. She was slim. She was 18 months older than me, but she did not. And like I said, first 5 years of marriage, in my opinion, was adequate. But she did not fill the bill to be called a trophy wife.
What? Okay, can I ask you a question, Jack?
Sure.
What was missing from that definition of trophy wife? You said some great things about her, but what was missing from the trophy in your definition? What was missing?
She was 18 months older than me and not 18 years younger than me. She was an upgradable 5. She was slim.
Okay, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but that you mentioned that before. What does that mean, an upgradable 5?
She was okay. I mean,
average.
She was okay looking. A little bit of makeup just brought her looks up her hair. But she was not.
Very average, pretty much.
She was
right?
average, yes.
Yeah.
But she was not in my social economic range, a trophy wife. Now, could she be some no, she wouldn't. That's a damn lie right there. My son's mother, back in her days, a dude 20, 25 years older than her. Yes, she could have been a trophy wife at that time when I knew her. When I met her.
Okay. Interesting. All right, before we move on in the video, we've got a new addition. We've got Goten Huggins up here. Goten, what's up? How you doing? What do you got to say on the subject so far?
Yo, what's up? Hashtag for the culture. Yeah, a trophy wife wants an older man that has everything, that has wealth, who is very intellect, who lives independently. That's okay, there's nothing wrong with it, but at the same time, it's a red flag. Like, she's a gold digger and wants everything what you got. She don't love the man for who he really is, the character wise, the personality, the consciousness. Like, huh?
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Got him.
Like, because this had happened to me, and I was, tricked. I mean, she wasn't no younger woman, but she was an older woman. It was the exact opposite. Okay. And people was telling me, even my own brother and other family members, I did listen, but I didn't want to listen because I was in love. And it got me into something that I have to regret.
That's true, but let me ask you a question, right? Because you said that the trophy wife, right, she cares about basically your money and what you can give her, right?
Yes.
But then the question is, well, why did you pick her? Did you pick her because of her soul and her brain, or did you pick her because she was super gorgeous, right? I mean, you got to look at it from both sides. You picked her because you were super attracted to her and you thought she was really, really, really gorgeous, right?
Yeah, exactly. Even though she was plus size.
What does that mean? What do you mean? What does even though mean? What do you mean even though she was plus size? Because she was plus size, that would make her less than, or explain that.
I mean, she was plus size. Excuse me. She was like 225 to 227.
Okay, what's wrong with that? Was she like 4'10" or what? What's wrong with that? Was she attractive? You found her attractive. You were with her, so I mean, what does that mean? To even mention that, what does that mean? What are you trying to say? Why point that out?
Oh, because she was good looking, and I thought she was about the same age, but she was way older, and she was like Ruby's height, and she was like dark skinned. She was almost like my skin tone, but darker, a little bit darker.
And you liked it, right? I mean, all of these things you like, correct? I mean, was there a problem with these things?
Well, it wasn't a problem. The problem was that I couldn't do what I want to do. And
what did you want to do?
What did you want to? Yeah, that was the first question. What did you want to do? What was going on?
Okay, it's like I couldn't, have female friends, but she had male friends, and it's unfair because I let her talk to my late friend, because I was telling Ruby about my late friend and my other friends and my brother. I had no issue with it because I was a laid back guy. Yeah.
All right. Well, you know what? I think that actually we're going to see some videos that touch on some of that a bit later. So let's keep watching the footage. Okay. We don't run out of time because we know Shar don't play. So, all right, let's keep going.
DBL, a Missouri pastor, has taken a leave of absence and is now seeking professional counseling after his sermon went viral and was called out for being sexist. Pastor Stuart Allen Clark told women in his congregation that they need to look attractive for their husbands or else they'd stray because, quote, God made men to be drawn to beautiful women. But the 22-minute sermon did not stop there. Here's more of what he said.
Your man needs an attractive wife. Now, look, I'm not saying every woman can be the epic trophy wife of all time, like Melania Trump. I'm not saying that at all. Now, most women can't be trophy wives, but you know, like her, maybe a participation trophy. I don't know, but all I can say is not everybody looks like that. Amen. Not everybody looks like that. But you don't need to look like a butch either.
Oh my gosh. He said an amen after that statement.
That was my favorite part.
I can't. I could not believe this was real, Jeff, when I saw this sermon. He also said that women, they lose themselves when they get married. They need to lose weight. Yeah.
But the audience wasn't with the amen. Like the amens got quieter and quieter.
That's right. He threw that one in there because he was too far down the hall.
Tori, he knew he was in trouble. And I watched this like Sam did. These were not, I need our audience to understand, these were not off the cuff. This was 21 minutes long with corresponding slides behind him, like the Chicago Bulls are coming out of the locker room.
Dang, he's the only brother.
And first of all, if you're going to talk about women's appearance, like maybe don't dress like you manage a Pizza Hut. Like, let's come on now, you know?
Facts. He also said beautiful women from the South are called Southern belles. Does that mean beautiful women from Mexico are called Taco Bells, which is racist and misogynistic?
Oh Lord, yeah, that was
the trophy wife is not for.
And he got a black queen.
Oh Lord, Southern Bells and Taco Bells. I'm like, okay.
I'm just saying, listen, at the end of the day, now they are preaching it in church, y'all. Okay, they are preaching it in church. You as a woman, see, and this is what I said though, like this whole subjective, objective thing and whatever. He's saying, listen, as a wife, as someone's wife, you have to make yourself into a trophy for him, right? You have to be the best trophy you can be. And if the best trophy you can be is a participation trophy, well, be that. But you can't let yourself go and not be a trophy. because your man deserves a trophy. If you don't give him a trophy,
you know what?
on you. And he has all right to.
That is a very, very there's a very, very blurry line with what he said.
Oh, yeah.
Because that is not something that it's widely talked about, and then the way that it's talked about is always putting the blame on the woman. But for me personally, I feel to each his own. I'm going to always say that, to each his own, because everybody is different, and we do have to embrace the differences in each of us. We're everybody's not a monolith, so let me just say that. But for me personally, for me personally, to stay in my attractive mode, to keep myself, at a healthy weight to where I'm comfortable, it all keeps you in that form, of being attractive to your husband. Yeah, we're not going to look like we did when we were 20, but, I think health is very important. Number one, health is important. Then, it gets to a point where, you get to an age where, being super attractive is just not, you're like, whatever, you're past that. But for you, I think how you feel about yourself is what it boils down to. And there's a level to that. There's a limit to that. Like, I feel good about myself. I feel good about how I look, but I do things to maintain how I feel and how I look, because that's what works for me. What works for the next person, to each his own, because, we all have our own makeup. So my thing is that, I kind of agree with him to a point. Yeah, you should remain attractive, but just because you remain attractive does not mean you're going to keep your man. But you can, let yourself go the whole opposite way, and, things can stray, in the relationship. But a relationship is not all about looks. There's a relationship, there's a bond that you have with a person. It's a total package. And I think, attractability and how you look is just one part of the whole package, basically.
I mean, I agree with you, but so on one side, I actually have the exact same mindset he was preaching to have, because I've always been like that. I have always been like, I want to be his trophy wife in that way, where he comes home and he thinks, God damn, she's so hot. Like no one could beat her. No one could beat her. In her natural state, she is the most gorgeous thing living, right? I've always been that one. So because I've always been that one who thinks that way, I understand what he was saying. I think that because we get caught up in all of the everything else you got to do, you got to raise kids, you got to deal with problems, this and that, and whatever. And I'm talking about both men and women, let ourselves go, right? It's just like a man who just stops, he used to get his line up and, his fade and his facial hair done right and wearing the cologne, smelling good and whatever, right? And you like those things about him. You like the smell of the cologne on his skin, or the way he smelled with that particular soap, or whatever. It's just those little things. And so when we stop taking care of ourselves, we stop being visually and with all of our other senses appealing to our spouse, right? Like, to me, it's kind of like you are intentionally throwing away something that was keeping you bonded together. Because in a way, you're always going to go through hard times. You're always going to fight. You're going to this, you're going to that. You go through ups and downs. But at those down times, it's like, I could still smell him from over here. And that smell of his cologne brings me comfort. So even while we're fighting, I'm still comforted by the smell of his cologne in a way. Do you see what I'm saying? But if you're not doing that, now I just look at you, you look raggedy, you smell raggedy. You know what I mean? Like you letting that bald spot just be so prominent because you refuse to shave your head. Like, you know what I mean? You're just letting yourself go. And I'm like, when I look at that, I'm going to be honest, I'm judgmental and critical, and it does affect the way I see you. So I think about that in the reverse. And I look at myself and I smell myself and I'm like, no, I still want to smell good to him and look good to him and whatever. So even while he's hating me right now in this moment, there's that part of his brain that wants to just, be up on me so he could smell me and feel me and I feel good and I look good. You know what I mean? So I kind of get it. I mean, I don't think you should be preaching that if she, let herself go a little bit, you should cheat.
He was throwing shots at the first lady, trying to let her know. I'm looking at Sister Lisa over there in the front row. Hint, hint. That's all he was doing.
Yep. He been. You listen to that whole 22 minutes. It was clearly a shot at his wife. Clearly.
But the whole fact of the matter is that what people don't understand, or what maybe men don't admit. You could have the hottest wife around town. It doesn't mean that you're not going to find other women attractive. That's just the bottom line. But it's nice to be attracted to your wife. You can have the hottest wife, the best looking wife, but it does not mean that you're only going to find her attractive. You're going to find other women attractive.
Exactly.
It's a matter of what works for the relationship. Your woman puts on 10 pounds. It doesn't mean you're going to find her repulsive because she put on 10 pounds. She may put on 10 pounds, but still maintain her sexiness. She still combs her hair and brush her teeth and, fix herself up, but there could come to a point where, maybe 10 can turn to, 100 pounds, and maybe that's not good for your relationship, and those are things you got to talk about. And then, of course, there's the health involved, because like I say, we're not, when you fall in love with someone and, you're teenagers or you're in your 20s and you spend 20 years with somebody, you're not the same as you were 20 years ago. And depending on how much you've metamorphosed, realize that if she's changed, dude, you've changed too. I mean, for real, you've changed too. So she's taking you as you are, take her with a little bit of extra. But, if, fitness and, physical attraction is something that's important, that's something you guys can, work on in your relationship, shouldn't be, like all of a sudden you look and be like, oh, this is not what I want. I don't want this anymore. I want someone that, looks like this. And, because it's not about the looks. It's about the connection that you have with the person. Looks help. Looks help.
A lot. A lot. You know what? Let's ask the gentleman. Jack?
Attraction helps. I understand. I'm not going to say it doesn't. Would never say that doesn't count. That's why we, we'll put on some lipstick. I feel terrible with this pandemic because that is the one thing I miss is my lipstick. I'm going to make that statement now. I miss my lipstick.
Okay. I wear it in the house.
That's what I was
just
saying.
to be able to wear it.
I will come home and put on lipstick and take a couple of pictures because I miss my lipstick. I miss putting on lipstick.
Now,
I don't relate, but Jack, go ahead.
There was a episode where I had to issue my wife one of these go kick rock type of moments because she called herself trying to complain that I was going to the gym. It was like on a Saturday. She already knew what the ritual was. Saturdays I'm doing something to get out and be physically active. So she said, "Well, I'm tired of you. Basically, I'm tired of you leaving out on Saturday when we should be spending some free time and fun time, blah, 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 blah." So I said, look at it this way. I said, every time we go somewhere and people, I said, first thing you do is when we walk in there, you pull me closer to you. We go have a seat. If you think someone is looking at me, you start rubbing my head. I'm bald headed. I said, you start rubbing my beard, or you start rubbing my stomach. I says, I already know how you act when we get to places and there's other women there that you believe is looking at me. So I said, if anything, and every time we go somewhere, this is my husband, such and such and such, such and such. This is my husband. This is my husband. I said, so every time I go to the gym, I'm doing you a favor. I said, so you can have an option. You can I can be like your brother, or I can be like me. I said, pick which one you want. She said, well, go to the gym. Just be back in a decent time. I said, okay, I'll be back in 2 hours.
Well, damn, Jack. Okay.
That's well, yeah. I mean, hey, you call someone up on that.
Because at the end of the day, I think I can't say all, but I think there's a good segment of women who likes to show off a what they feel is a handsome husband. Now, that's subjective, but I don't think there's too many women out there who really wants to roll up in the spot with a roly-poly husband.
Nope.
They want that low end trophy. They may not be able to get the high end trophy.
But then you got your women that she wants the husband that's only for her. Whether somebody else finds him attractive or not, as long as she finds him attractive, that's what the whole point for me. To each his own. I'm gonna always go back to that. To each his own. Everybody's different, but for me, I don't give a damn what the next person thinks. It's about what I think about my man and how my man makes me feel. I don't give a two quarters about what the next chick think about my man. Now, if I see those special glimmers in my man, I'm gonna be wondering if another chick, I'm like, damn, does she see that shit too? You don't want the next chick seeing that, that sparkle, that thing that makes your man so special. You don't want other chicks, all flocking and having a part of that, because then that makes it more work for you. Then you be like, now you got to fight off all these extra chicks. Yeah, it's nice to have a nice looking man. And that goes the same for a woman. You don't, want this woman that men are just running all up to. You want a woman that has eyes for you, but hell, she looks good too, and she has only eyes for me. It's like, come on. It's like you gotta, find a happy medium. It's like,
right,
don't sit up there and tell her she's lucky to have a good looking man, so she needs to just shut up and just chill out. That's like a no. It's like, dude, yeah, it's nice that you look good, but you got a good thing up over here too.
Right,
it goes
but the rule is look but don't touch. If I step up in the spot and nobody's looking at the woman that I got the wrong chick. I need to trade her in. I want dudes to look. Give me that damn thumb up.
Wait a minute, Chad. Wait a minute. So when did she become the one that wasn't nobody looking at? You, not even you. When did you stop looking at her?
I said if I roll up in the spot and dudes don't look at what I brought in there, I got to trade her in.
Why does that matter? Can I ask you, if you're with the woman, why does that matter what another man thinks about the woman that you're with?
It's all about that competition. That's
At what point do we grow out of that, or do we get past that and you just enjoy and settle with the person that you're with? What about if you enjoy that woman?
So y'all, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna play this next segment of the video because it actually addresses this. And so I want y'all to hear this little part here before we keep going with the discussion.
Okay.
For the average man. And I'm gonna tell you why, man.
Wait, he looks like
the
Mekhi
trophy wife
Phifer.
is not for the average man. And I'm gonna tell you why, man. It's a lot of talk around this money situation, money, resources, status. Obviously, that's what women go for, right? Women would prefer the man that they like, the man that they are physically attracted to, right? Have money, resources, and status. But if that's all you coming to the table with, a trophy wife, fam, if you just an average, everyday working guy, that's going to cost you a lot. Not only money, it's going to start to chip away at your manhood.
You understand?
Let me ask you this. Do you think a man has the right to judge the value that you place on getting a PhD for yourself?
Absolutely. In his life, absolutely. How can this benefit me, or does it benefit me? Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay.
I do believe that.
Well, that's what he's doing. So what's the problem?
My problem is, why is it being taught that it's not valuable? Why is it being taught?
It's not. No.
Content creators that if a woman goes to achieve any type of level of higher education, that it's not valuable. You have the right in your life to say, if she gets her PhD, maybe she writes books.
What they're saying, listen, they're not saying that it's not valuable. You're leaving out two words. That's the issue. That's where you're not connecting it. You're saying, why are men saying that it's not valuable? You're leaving out two words, very important words. The words that you're leaving out is to them. Men are saying, if you getting your PhD in psychology is not valuable to them. All right. If you want to get it yourself, get it yourself. If you think it'll help you and your kids, get it. Fine. What some men are telling you is that a psychology degree is not valuable to them.
So a guy with a lot of money, we talking about multimillionaires, even billionaires, those guys with that kind of money, even if the trophy wife fuck up, even if they got to replace this broad, they got enough money to do that with one snap of a finger. You see what I'm saying? A trophy wife for these kind of guys is just a tool. They're not taking these women serious. They bring out the trophy wife, let her work the room, you know, especially when it comes to these guys going to country clubs or, like I say, even Vegas or certain kind of dinner parties. Work the room. Her job is to look good, smile, even flirt with other men. So this man can get ahead in business, in life, or whatever it is he's trying to do. They look at these females as a tool. A lot of times they barely even sleeping with these women. A lot of times these women are sleeping with regular guys like myself or the pool boy or the personal trainer. So let me ask you a question. Would you rather have a female that's a 6 that love your dirty drawers, that'll get down on her knees and serve you, swallow everything you got, fuck the shit out you, get up, make you some French toast? Or would you rather be laying down with that trophy wife and she's sitting there telling you, oh, motherfucker, don't touch my hair. You can't fuck me doggy style. We gonna do this quick missionary, then we done.
Okay. So now, Vonda, I said that this next little segment kind of addresses what you're asking, because you're like, well, why don't you grow out of it? Well, no, it's the way that men in general think. So even when you're talking about on the wealthiest levels, right? This is what the whole purpose of a trophy wife was. This is why I said trophy wives are not empty-headed, because they are a tool that wealthy men use, right? This is why their second wives are notoriously trophies. Why? They're not just beautiful and dumb. Although they give that appearance a little bit where it's like, oh, I don't think much and whatever, but they're actually very sly and they're very good at socialization, because they are a tool to grease the wheels between their husband and whatever business contacts, associates, whatever, right, to help build his network, to help get deals done. Right? Even if that tool is her flirting with the guy or getting a little handsy with them, or even what, it doesn't matter. She's a tool. So now you think about this on a less wealthy level, just the average, regular, everyday man, right? Well, just because they're not wealthy doesn't mean they're not men, right? And so I've never been with a man who doesn't notice how many men look at me when we're anywhere, right? Because I actually was complaining about that the last time I was outside, which was like 2 years ago, because, you know, worldwide pandemic. But anyway, and I was like, oh, I used to be so beautiful. People used to look at me all the time. No one's looking at me now. And he's like, are you crazy? You're not noticing them. I'm like, no, I would notice. He's like, no, I notice them. I am like, how would you notice? He's like, because I'm looking for it. Right. But that's the thing. They look for it because it lets them know, right? There is always going to be an element of men not necessarily using their wives, but caring about the social cachet that the woman on their arm gives them. That's why, like, if you remember the movie Goodfellas, in the movie Goodfellas, he had this beautiful wife, right? She could be arm candy, but a wife doesn't do that kind of thing. So the wife would stay home, and what would he do? He would walk around and do all his business deals and go to all his parties with what? A beautiful woman on his arm, right? It's just like, it's what men do. So it's not really something they're going to grow out of. It's something that they're already evolved and programmed to think that way.
No, I totally get it. I just wanted to, ask him, about that. Only because my thing is that if that is such an emphasis, for you, then why would you go for a woman, like that? If what you wanted and the reaction you wanted when you took her into a room was for all the men to be like, damn, his chick is bad. You don't walk into that room with an average woman and then get upset because she's average or treat her any type of way. And I'm not saying you did that. I'm just, that's just what runs through my mind. It's like, how dare she not, turn every man's head in here, or at least not 75% of the men's head in this room, when you knew who she was and what she was before she even got dressed for you guys to go out that night. I mean, you didn't just get with her that night. You've been with this woman for some time. So you already knew what she was and who she was. So to take her into that room and to even question why, not
Vanya,
everybody.
you're a woman. Do you not listen? When men look at all women, okay, it's just what men do. They see a butt block eye, they're gonna look. They see boobs block eye, they're gonna look. Okay, so here's the thing, right? Obviously, right, the trophy girl, she's 23, hot to death, whatever. She walks into a room, everybody stops and stares.
Yeah,
It's a whole big
absolutely.
thing. However, just being a woman, men are gonna look. They're gonna look at whatever woman.
Yes, they are.
You dress yourself up for the day, right? You put yourself together, and men are gonna look. They're always gonna give. It doesn't matter if you're not young. It doesn't matter if you put on a little weight. It doesn't matter about any of that, right? If you got something, men are gonna look. And so I think, and this is just my opinion. Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, Jack. But I think basically what you're saying is that if your woman has fallen so into disrepair that men are not even glancing at just the basic goods that they look at every woman, then something is terribly wrong at this point. Because as long as you're a woman, they're gonna look.
That is correct. I'm going to say something that's going to get me chased off this panel real quick. So
don't do that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I want to hear this.
Strap your seatbelts. Okay, so when I
wait a
lived
minute,
in,
where's my pearls? Let me get them. Give me a second. Okay.
so I lived in Raleigh, North Carolina for 10 years.
10
Part of it was
years?
married. 10 years, yes.
Oh, okay.
Part of it I was married. The other part I was divorced. But I met a young lady, attractive. She stood 5'10". I'm 5'11". Natural hair. She played
5'10"?
basketball. Huh?
She's
Say again?
5'10".
She's 5'10".
I said she's 5.
Yeah, she was 5'10", wore her hair natural. Yeah, she was kind of on the light skin side. I know we're gonna have some folks. Oh, these colors. Yeah, she was light skinned. And she was still in shape she was still shapely for a person. I think at that time she was like maybe 43. But she spoke well. We friend zoned each other, but I kept her on my team because whenever I would go to like black tie events or something like that, I would bring her with me to be my representative. So when we'll sit down, if anybody's ever been at a black tie event, normally you sit at the table with people you don't know. So her job was to work the women at the table. She said, I graduated from this school. I worked for this company. I've worked for that company. I have this degree. And then what will end up happening is the women at the table will, start a rapport with her. And then that rapport will start working towards the husband, where there has been some times where I've actually gotten, some business cards. I got a chance to do some, I used to do headshots, as a paying hobby. I got a chance to do that. I got a chance to, was commissioned to do 3 projects. And all of that was just because of her, because of the fact that she was able to, like I said, talk with the women, establish a rapport with them. And then the women be like, then the wives would be like, honey, she does this, and he does this, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, it's like Ruby said, there's just sometimes you bring the women, they're a tool. They're a tool to open up doors.
Absolutely.
But
Anyone
I'm
else have
saying
anything on this?
that goes with the whole package, though. I mean, that's not the only reason why you're choosing this woman. And I'm just asking because I'm not choosing a woman. I am a woman. You know.
Oh, now I
So
did
I'm
say
just saying.
before we head on, I did say I friend zoned her. We didn't date. But there's a
What?
reason why.
You should have dated her, dude. Like that should have been your.
No.
Okay. Because I don't want to get all hype and stuff. They already know.
There's just
They
some
already
women.
know.
There's just some women you keep them as a friend, as an acquaintance, nothing more.
I think that's fair. I mean, at the end of the day, I know some men that I love having discussions and debates with. They'd be cool as friends, but I would never date them. Ever. So I mean, you have to be, you can't just pick people. Well, I mean, you could if you make very poor life choices, but you can't just pick people based on like a basic, oh, well, they're basically attractive and oh, okay,
Oh
they have
no.
different social skills. You can't pick someone based on that because you also have to factor in the individual or the you factor. How well do you
Absolutely.
meld together? How well do you guys complement one another as far as your traits and your values and what you want and need from a relationship and whatever, right? So,
And that's
So
just
I
the
didn't get
thing that
I didn't
I
get you off the panel. Damn, I need to try harder.
I know. Hey, we are a very balanced panel as long as we are respectfully voicing opinions.
No, you're
We're
not
offended.
saying anything that's so offensive. I mean, you know, my thing is I enjoy people who think differently from me. And if I think differently from you, I mean, I like for you not to take my head off. But if you had questions, I would answer your questions, and you know, I would appreciate you answering my questions. I don't ever mean to be, you know, malicious or disrespectful. That's not my style. You know, I just think that, you know, we're people, and you know, it's nice to talk to people and to get to know how other people think. You know, me and Ruby are two people who do not think alike.
At
You know,
all.
and I just be wondering what is going through this girl's brain. But I love to listen to the stuff that comes out of her head, you know, because I'm like, Ruby, you know, but that's just me and Ruby, you know. But we do not agree on not even
Yeah.
half the things.
Yeah.
We just don't.
No, almost ever. Speaking of disagreement, though, we have finally gotten to our segment of the video where I said, high value man outrightly disagrees with your opinion on the trophy wife thing. So let's take a listen to what he says. Some of y'all may have seen this. It's a pretty popular clip, but it's all right because I made it kind of scrambly, so therefore we can use it. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Oh no.
Well, I think I bring feminine inspiration to the table. Like Kelly Rowland say, I'm gonna be your motivation. When you come home, I'm gonna be in lingerie. I'm gonna keep it nice and fresh and waxed for you. I'm gonna cook your food.
Oh,
You just
shit.
gotta bring home the bacon. That's
Oh,
it.
shit.
I don't ask for a lot.
Okay. I mean, okay, hold on.
See, I got CEO.
Yeah.
I got you, right?
God damn.
Hold
on.
She got you on that regular shit?
Hold on.
He interested, yeah.
Hold on. That's crazy.
It ain't regular. That's what men want.
I want to
though.
know, right?
Who want that?
So,
Chris.
Mr. Organic is a
Okay.
high value guy, right?
Right.
I want to know from you, brother. What do you look for in a woman? So you heard all these answers, right? What do you look for?
I mean, yeah, like, of course, most of them is gonna stand on they pretty, they gonna fuck you and all that. Come home, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit, man. Like, we get that dime a dozen. Like a nigga got bread,
Dime
nigga.
a
I'm
dozen.
6'6", 230. I'm smooth. Even without the money, I had every woman I ever wanted. So, like, just because you're gonna be at my home when I come there cooking, I don't need that shit. You know what I'm saying? I never needed it. You know what I'm saying? I need a girl that's gonna understand what I go through, who gonna keep a motherfucker on top of his toes, that's gonna push him and motivate him. You know what I mean? That's also gonna come with some ideas. You know what I mean? Give me creative criticism on my grind. You know what I mean? Also add to the table. You know what I mean? Not just trying to grab some food every time it's filled
He's
up.
in
You know
good
what I mean?
shape.
You
I
gotta
can
bring something to
tell.
this table. Like fucking pussy is over with after a certain time. Like I could fuck any bitch I ever wanted in my life. I always have. That's not appealing to me no more. You know what I mean? Once you get money and once you was already having that, you got to bring more. Your energy got to be right. Your mind got to be right. That body don't mean nothing after a while. You know what I'm saying? A nigga will fuck anything, man. So like, you could be the baddest bitch in the world. That's fine. Nigga gonna have you, and I'm gonna fuck a bitch, motherfucker, a 2 and a 3. A nigga will do that.
Yeah,
happens all the time. You know what I'm saying? Jay-Z had Beyonce, he still fuck some other pussy. How can you beat that? Because he would just want some new pussy on his cock. So that ain't nothing, man. It's your energy, it's your mind, what you bringing to help me grow. And what's gonna help us grow. That what counts.
Yeah, preach, brother.
Yeah.
Preach.
But
Absolutely.
a bad bitch brings inspiration that you
not
will
to
not
no
get.
real nigga that already had
Yeah.
that. If you got a fat, lame, rich nigga that
Hey,
need
she's
all that,
got
I
a
just want a
sexy
bad bitch,
voice.
that nigga, he's a square. He's a nobody.
Yeah.
But a nigga that been sufficient his whole life and got every girl he wanted, what is a bad bitch doing for me? That's nothing. We always had that. What you bringing more than just being it's a million bad bitches walking this earth. That's the cheapest and most easiest thing to get for a nigga got some money is a bitch and some pussy.
Bam.
You go to, like I said, you go to Brazil right now, it's gonna be a 10,000 bad bitch you've seen in your life. You get them bitches $1 in a coffee, and that bitch gonna lick your feet, man. That ain't work. That's worthless to a real nigga, man.
Right.
You gotta be a fat, slow brain, regular ass nigga that finally got some money to be imposed. And I got a bad bitch. Like, come on, man. Like that's a different type of breed of human that get they rocks off to that. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. Y'all get your money now. Go get all them niggas. But a nigga like me, that shit is like it's nothing. You know what I mean? Our energy's got to be connected. You know what I'm saying? We got to grow together. That's the most important.
So
thing.
you'll take a basic bitch that is somebody that you want to talk to over a bad bitch that will inspire you.
So you consider yourself a bad bitch?
No, yeah, I do actually.
So you above basic. Well, you don't even work. You don't have no
So
attributes
basic.
to the table here. Like what
I
are we
do have
talking about?
attributes.
Like what?
I inspire my men.
How? You don't got no job. You got what's your education?
Listen,
what's your master's
but you
degree
have
in?
to no, but you have to realize that when men make it to a certain level,
Right.
they're not checking for a woman's education.
Well, she could be
You're
Puerto
not.
Rican.
When you're making millions of dollars, you don't care about a woman's education.
Yes, you do.
Talk to
I
plenty
do.
of rich men.
I do. I'm a rich man. I got an estate in Malibu. Okay,
An
2
estate?
acres. Yes.
Oh, I
2
would
acres.
like to see the paperwork.
Okay, we can show you paperwork.
Go ahead and show me the
paperwork to-
title.
we gotta show a paperwork to somebody that got no paper.
Miseducated.
That would make no sense.
Show me,
This shit got
pull
no
up
paper
that
talking
deed.
some paperwork.
Can he pull up the deed?
Can you pull
You
up
don't
your
even know
car?
what a
Can you
deed
pull up a
is.
vehicle?
You don't even know what a deed is because you
What
ain't
deed
got
you got? What deed you got?
a deed to these.
Come on, man. You got a little residue underneath your nose,
Man,
baby.
So, he's certified.
do that.
He's
You know what I'm saying?
certified.
But I get what you're saying.
I get what you're saying. Like,
She fucking with loser, fat, old niggas got money. I get it.
Nah,
Don't play with
negative.
them.
But seriously,
There's
when
no
you
way you
reach a
got
certain
nobody
level,
efficient
when
around
you
you.
reach a certain level, you don't care if that girl works as a bottle girl. You don't care if this
It
girl
don't
has
matter.
a job.
We
Like
didn't
you
say
don't
that. We gotta
care
have somebody that got
because
some
you
smarts,
already
though.
because
We can tell you ain't got no
you've
smarts.
already
Like we
made
need
it to a
somebody with
certain
some
level.
brain. It ain't about just want to suck the dick all the time.
The energy needs to
Damn.
be matched.
We need,
is what
yeah,
you said.
yeah. It's bigger than
But you're
just.
saying because she doesn't have a job or work,
It don't
she
matter.
can't match your energy.
It don't matter. I'm talking about you personally on the
But you
educational
don't know me
terms.
personally.
I can tell you ain't got no brain.
Honey, I worked in corporate finance.
You
What are you
did?
talking?
So why are
Yes,
you not
baby.
employed now?
Because I don't want to be.
So you want to be a slave to a man with some money?
I want to. No, honey. I want to be an inspiration with someone
How?
to some money.
How you going to inspire him? Please explain that.
Baby, I just told you. Obviously, you weren't listening.
I'm listening quite fine. You see you coming in lingerie, but
No,
to
you
put your
wasn't
lingerie
listening
ain't
though.
gonna, ain't gonna do nothing
Like
for a
you
nigga.
wasn't listening.
Okay, I got you. I want to listen.
Yeah, I don't like the term trophy wife. I really, because you know, you're attracted to somebody. Obviously, physically, when you see somebody, you're attracted to them, and then you get to know them on the inside. And
Yeah.
that's why I was never been a fan of that trophy wife. My wife is the most beautiful woman in the world to me, but I won't call her a trophy wife.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Well, trophy wife also comes with not just looks, but what you do for a living, and you know, and who's the breadwinner, who's providing, that sort of thing.
I think it's got. I think from the old days, I think trophy wife's got like a little bit of a bad taste in.
And she'd abuse it blackly.
You know, you're parading around town with the beautiful 6-foot model on your hip. You know.
All right.
6-foot model.
Trophy spouse.
Right. So, as I said, right, we're gonna hear a very well established, high value man say that, basically it's only new money or people who ain't got it like that, or people who've never had access to the hot girl like that, who are prioritizing right? These beautiful women who are dumb as rocks with their empty head, who just want to sit around and inspire you by giving you BJs all day. That is not what wealthy men would consider a trophy, or trophy wife. What they would value is a woman who has the looks, and yeah, you got the chemistry and all that, but that you've got the high level of intelligence and other skills to be able to add something, right? So you've got, on one side, you've got the lead attorney saying, well, no, he didn't really want you to add nothing. Right? He didn't care about your education. He didn't care about what else, he cares about your looks, right? He cares about your ability to cook and clean, chick. You want to do psychology so you're not bored. That's great. But that's it. That, and then you've got on the other side, right? I mean, Mr. Organics, he's not really manosphere or whatever, and he's saying that that's just for losers, right? Only losers think like that, right? Really wealthy people, really people who got it like that, who had chicks like that, and kind of have always had that status. They don't value the beautiful woman like that. And like I showed you guys at the start of the show, the definition of of a trophy wife was never beautiful but dumb as rocks. It was not actually the definition. That's something that society took and ran with it. And I guess because they couldn't afford, right? We're talking about men defining stuff that they can afford. They couldn't afford the beautiful woman who's brilliant as hell, right? But the beautiful woman who's dumb as rocks, you can just, I don't know, I guess show her something shiny and she'll just come following along. So I guess they could afford that. And that's why they try to shift that.
But one thing that I noticed, when the chick and that guy were talking, basically what she was saying is that, there are still some suckers out there, ready to be licked. And and basically what he was telling her is like, I'm not that sucker, that's just not going to be licked, so once again, I'll go to each his own. You're going to find some that fit into that category. Obviously she's, found some dudes that fit into that category because she's so, stuck on it. But he's telling her, I'm not that dude. You may find some suckers, that are going to fall, prey to that just because of, your looks. And that's solely what they're looking for, because there are guys out there that's solely what they're looking for is something, pretty to have on their arm, and they're willing to pay for it because it's going to cost you. She's not just there because she likes you. You're going to pay for it, and he's saying, well, be that as it may, we wouldn't be a good match because I'm not that dude. I'm not paying you anything, just from looking at you and talking to you just as, 3 minutes, there's nothing really going on up there. And so that doesn't appeal to me. So that's what he was saying. That's what he said.
Right. I don't care. You can pay me I will bet any amount of money that when she said she worked in corporate finance, like she was the receptionist for someone who works in corporate finance. That girl came off dumb and airy as rock. Oh my God. I could not stand every time she said something, the upward inflection.
No.
Oh my God.
For real.
She was just an embarrassment. But I want to, another thing is, right? So when we're talking about what the definition of pick me is, right? She's one, right? This is literally a pick me. That's what a pick me is. A pick me comes and feeds you your own bullshit, right? And then you go, oh my God, she's perfect and she's beautiful. No, she doesn't believe anything she's saying.
Somebody, and that's what she said.
Back to you.
She's very confident. I'm going to appeal to somebody. Somebody's looking for this, who's got some change. And he's like, well, it definitely not me. So I would say they were both right in their assumptions and what they said, he's living proof that he not going for nothing like her. And she living proof that, dude, I see, 10 guys like you a day, that would pay for this. So there you go.
Well, no, she was trying to say that he didn't got any money, because otherwise he would fall for her feminine wiles and be okay with her feminine inspiration, aka sitting on his D every once in a while to make him feel like a man.
Oh God,
right? That's what she said. You show me.
Is that all y'all need? Give me a break.
Well, I don't know. That's why I'm going to ask Jack. So
more of a job than that.
What side do you stand on, Jack? Because to me, Mr. Organic sounded very logical and exactly what I see the trophy wife and the ultimate wife really as being. But what do you think? We have to ask the gentleman on the panel. So we'll start with Jack.
One of the most valuable aspects that a woman can bring into a man's life is peace. Peace to his mind and peace in his home. That's not saying, somebody can say, well, I brought peace to my husband's life and he still cheated. We can go there, but that's not what I'm talking about. But yeah, a woman that can bring peace to a man is a valuable woman. And that's the reason why I ended up marrying the person that I did, because, my mind is always racing. I'm always stressing about something. I'm always trying to be 2 steps ahead of the next possible it that's coming along. And the woman that I ended up marrying, one of the things that I noticed was when I was around her, I don't even know what the hell she did, but she brought peace to my life. I can actually lay down in the bed and close my eyes and actually rest. So a lot of times when you have the women that have these degrees and they've got this job position and they got these looks, the question is, did they bring peace to the man's life? Which is the reason why he kind of had to let them go. Like the lady that spent $1 million on that restoration stuff that she was doing. She did not bring peace to his life.
No.
Now that's not saying that a woman has to be perfect. That we all do some goofy stuff, but overall, when you look at the graph that goes the whole length of that relationship, did she bring peace to his life? And to me, like I said, that's more important than your degrees and all this kind of stuff. I mean, not saying that a woman is dumb as a brick, but okay, she's not the smartest thing on earth, but if she brings peace to a man's life, I think she's a prize asset.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
All right. So go.
What you talking about? That's right.
I know. So what you're saying then, Gotin, let me ask and just confirm. So you're saying that you would value a woman who brought you peace over a woman who could help you, say, get ahead or advance in your career or in life or build what it is that you're trying to build.
Yes. Definitely. I mean, it would be a perfect opportunity to have that, because I don't want to go into that same route like the last girl that I had, with being controlled. Because in the beginning it was great, but way down the line it was like worse and stuff. Even though she cooked and bought me clothes, found out it was her kids' clothes because my late friend had told me. And also she used to tell me stories. Then when she with my late friend, it was a different like type of scenario, like the complete opposite. Because I don't want to go through that road, that misery. I just want to start something new. I want to start something fresh. I just want peace, harmony, justice, equality within the relationship.
Can I ask a question to the men on the panel?
Yeah.
Okay, you guys both said, it would be great and wonderful, for a woman to bring you peace. Now, my question to both of you men are, can you please describe how a woman would bring you peace? Number one, it's a two-part question. It's a two-part question. And number two, how would you bring peace to her? What would you do to bring peace to her? How does she bring peace to you? Because you guys said, hey, it'd be nice for a woman to bring peace. What does that look like? Woman bringing peace to you. And how would you bring peace to her? Go. Who's first?
I'll let the gentleman go first.
Oh, it's one. Oh, wait, it's two gentlemen.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm
but
gonna let you go
he said
first.
he's gonna let you go first, Goten. So go ahead.
Okay, how can I put this? I mean, the way I can bring peace is to leave the lifestyle, you know, and also less drama, and also the quit what I was doing, with the, being a player thing, because they already know this already, because, they talk about this on YouTube, and I gotta say, hey, look, the only way I can bring peace is leave that garbage behind, but I still gotta focus on my content. You gotta understand. Yeah, I understand, Goten. I really do.
So
But
how does she bring peace to you then, Golden? How does she bring peace to you?
how she bring peace is a wonderful feeling. Like, I'm just gonna love you who you really are. I'm not gonna be your ex-girlfriend taking all your money and be controlling. It's gonna be equal, 50-50. Like what she said. It's like,
That's the joy for you, Golden, is to be 50-50. That's your main goal. You want to be 50-50? That's what
equality.
Equality. What are you offended? What do you mean? Equality between who?
Like me and the girl.
You want to be equal with your woman?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, hey, nothing wrong with that. That's what you're looking for. And, okay, Jack, I'd like for you to answer the question. Thank you.
Jack, go ahead. Assalamu alaikum.
It revolves around constructive predictability and stability in the household. As we know, life throws things at us constantly. We have our great moments, we have our jacked up moments. Saturday can be a great day, but probably by Wednesday something bad is going to come your way, something jacked up, something screwed up. And when you have that other person in your life, or if you can provide it, like I said, constructive predictability. There's a tick in the car. You bring the car, you don't fly off the handle. You try to reassure the other person that, okay, we're going to take care of this. What we're going to do is this. Hey, you take my car to work. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And I'll figure out what's going on with the car. Don't even worry about it. So this person already knows, okay, he's already said, take my car. I don't have to worry about how I'm going to get to work. The finances are straight enough that, maybe there's enough on the credit card. There's enough money in the enough money in the bank to cover whatever that repair is.
So what are you speaking about right now, Jack? Are you speaking about with regards to how did she bring? No, I just wanted to clarify just what you're saying. Are you speaking about how the woman brings you peace, or how you bring her peace? That's all I was just trying to clarify.
It goes both ways. Like I don't know if any of us have experienced this, but you have a person that says, okay, I'm going to cover the light bill. And then, 2 or 3 days before the light bill is paid, all of a sudden they tell you, oh, I don't have the money. Oh, let it be the day the bill is due. Then they say, oh, I don't have the money. Like, how long did you know you didn't have the money? Oh, I knew for about 3 weeks. Yo, son, why didn't you tell me this? And then, we could have done this and we could have done this. It's just, like I said, constructive predictability and stability. When something kicks off, like there was one thing I loved about my wife. She knew if somebody said something or somebody did something, what my reaction was going to be before I even kicked in. But she also understood that there was going to be certain situations. Somebody can say something to me, and I just let it roll off my back. I can start off a sentence and she can finish it. And like I said, that if you have that in the household, that kills a lot of the tension that goes on.
Okay.
All right.
Because, like I said, things happen. Things happen. We all make mistakes. We
Yeah.
That's very true.
do
I agree.
dumb stuff. Yes, I admit I've shit tested my ex-wife, but like I said, outside of those incidents, we pretty much tried our best to keep the household predictable and stable. Like I said, it was always something. Always something.
Yep. Always something. Yeah.
Well, Ruby, it has been interesting. As I said, I thought it would be. I didn't have a whole lot of questions, but I did have some. And thank you so much, you and Jack, bringing the topic. Appreciate it very much. Thank
But I
you.
wanted to do a closer once we're done.
Say that again.
Mm-hmm.
I said I wanted to do a closer once we're done.
Oh, well, go ahead and close.
Go ahead.
All right. I appreciate everybody coming on the panel. I appreciate all the comments in the comment section. I don't know how to respond to them, but there were some nice comments in there. Very observational. My point, I'm 56. I love life. The way I live life, I've milked my 20s for all they're worth, my 30s, my 40s, and I'm milking my 50s. I do not live in the past. So it would be next to impossible for me to take on a 15, 20, 25-year younger woman, because been there, done that. I had my little things with women here, things with women there, and I'm move forward. I move ahead. I want someone we have the same life experiences, same expectations, and the same wear and tear. It would be unfair for me to bring someone younger in my life, 35, 40, 45, and expect her to think and act like a 55, 56, 57-year-old woman. To me, that's cheating
Yes,
her
sir.
out of her development. Now, that's not to say I haven't seen any young things walking around here in Atlanta, but at the end of the day, I know what will bring more peace to my life, and that's not going to be a younger person. Like I said, been there, done that. And
Yep.
that's my
Been there
closer.
and done that. Oh yeah.
Well, I would like to say I appreciate both of you gentlemen, joining the panel, and
No problem.
Shar and Ruby, thank you for having me on. I'm just gonna be completely honest with you gentlemen. I still don't have a clear understanding as to your definition to the question that I asked, but I appreciate you giving your best attempt to answer it, and it was great being here. I hope to see you guys on future panels, and thanks again for having me.
I have a
Yes, black
suggestion
woman.
for Vonda before she goes. Now, I do have a channel. It's called the Spades Table, Jack Spade. If you type that in there, it'll pull it up. I've got a couple of uploads in there concerning a couple of incidents in my marriage, and I think maybe an incident with my son, and an incident or two with two other women. I think that right there would give you a better idea of what I was approaching when I said about the predictability, constructive predictability and stability. So yeah, I know it's a cheap plug. Yeah, go and check it out and check out those uploads. And you might get a better idea of where I'm coming from.
Okay.
All right. Okay, and I'll just Shar, thank you for allowing me to come over and do a whole hostile takeover of your channel today. My very first hosting of a panel, I think, all in all, considering all of the destruction that was happening even moments before the show, I think it went okay. Thank you all for your patience, and thank you for the opportunity, everyone coming up and discussing. I think that this went exactly the way I was hoping it would ultimately go, and I think hopefully when people watch, they'll realize there's no definition of trophy husband or trophy wife. There isn't really. because it is so subjective, and it's about the individual and what that individual is valuing and wanting and needing, what that individual holds on a pedestal. It's not about what some random person on YouTube or whatever says is a trophy. So hopefully we come to some great conclusions, and we kick off some discussion in these streets. I think sometimes we've done this before, so hopefully we kick off some more discussion. What do you think, Shar?
I think it's going to happen. I think when we check out Jack's channel, we're going to, like, oh, wow. I wonder what he meant by that. I wonder what he meant by that. You know what? Let's call up Jack. Jack, what did you mean by this? And you never know, it might be another show.
Hey. All right, for round two.
Take it from me. I'm a random guy.
Hey, now, I didn't want to ruin the surprise. And then I already told everybody, you are notorious. You're the only person on YouTube who ever made me cry, okay?
Literally hurt my I just ignored Jack all them years personally. So that's what you should have done. Not take it.
Jack, you making people cry?
I'm still trying to refresh my memory. What was you crying in laughter or you was crying because I hurt your feelings?
Sound like no pleasurable moment.
It was very early on, like when it was like one of our first discussions ever. And I thought like, oh, I was doing so good in these spaces and getting along with everybody. And I don't know what I said or did, but you went off on me. I was so hurt. You don't understand. Because I wasn't expecting, I was very new to YouTube. I didn't really expect that people would just like be mean to you. Right. I know it sounds stupid, but I really didn't. And you said like something and I pretended it was fine and like laughed it off after the fact. And then I think I even told you at some point, oh, it's okay. I cried, but it's fine. And then I put the laughing faces. No, I really did cry. For real. My feelings were so hurt.
Was it in the comment section or on the panel? I said something.
No, comment section. It was
like I vaguely remember it, but that was
look. You made somebody cry, and you vaguely remember being
because he wasn't doing. It's like I had said something, and then he like stereotyped me as like a strag or like something like that, right? Something really bad. And then he's like, I don't talk to people. I don't talk to women who are blah, blah, blah. And I was so offended. Like, what? What did I do? I'm a good person. I'm not a bad person. Right? Like I was so
Oh, that's when it was
I was new. So it's not all
I
his fault.
understand, Ruby.
New. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, like I said, I vaguely remember I remember something about that, but the details I don't remember.
Right. Exactly. You chop a lot of heads off. It's fine.
But we've made up and sent other people crying.
Exactly, right? We and now we have an outside third enemy. We are a team. We're good. No, thank you very much for coming in, for being here. Because this was awesome. Yep, definitely awesome.
Thank you so much. And you guys check out tomorrow. Me and Ruby, we do the article reaction, and we have a Ken and Karen segment, and that is exciting. 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I don't know what you do on your Saturday, but whatever you do, make sure you stay safe. And until then, peace.
Cheers, y'all.
Hashtag for the culture.
Everybody.